We're going with plan B over here. We're going with plan B. The guys had some technical difficulties that they couldn't work out. And I'm right here. I'm right here, guys. I am right here. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Can you see me? Can you hear me? No, you can't see me, but can you hear me? If the guys pop in, they pop in. Yes, yes, yes. All right. So the guys, oh, hold on a minute. Okay. The guys had technical problems. If it works out, it works out. If they're able to come in the background, they come in. That's how we do it here. If it doesn't go off as planned, we're not going to do it. So that's what we're going to do. So if you're having some Sambuca, nice, Carmen, nice, nice, nice. So I'm going to change the heading. It didn't work out. The guys couldn't work it out. It is what it is. What are you going to do? Things happen, things change, and we go to plan B. What do, Gianni? We go to a wind down. We just shoot the shit. We talk about this, that, and the other thing. It was going to be a nice show. I wanted to promote their channel, but it's very difficult sometimes. Not everybody is technically savvy. Sometimes it's very difficult to do. But I will tell you, StreamYard is one of the easiest programs that you can use. You get the link, you open it up, you go on, and that's it. So what we're going to do going forward, I don't know, Gianni. We'll see. We don't know. I'm red? No. Why am I red? Well, I'm hot because I'm getting the, okay, everybody. I'm getting a new pet Saturday. Dindu, chinchilla, is being delivered on Saturday. It's being delivered on Saturday. Yes, it's being delivered on, so yeah, yep. The chinchilla is being delivered on Saturday. His device not connected. You got to have it right. You got to have it right. You come in here, you got to have your shit together, everything ready, everything right. So the name is the chinchilla's name, which is being delivered Saturday. It's a female. It's being delivered, Carmela. I got a chinchilla coming. Oh my God, I'm so fucking excited. A chinchilla. Are you serious, Evan? You were just talking about a chinchilla? Now, people might think I'm crazy, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to get one. I'm going to get it. What do you think? I'm going to get it. And then I'm naming her Connie Corleone. Did you hear me, Griggs? Connie Corleone is the name of the chinchilla. No sweat, Craig. When we can do it, we do it. It's not a problem. I just can't leave these people waiting. I'm here to work. I'm here to have a good time. And I'm here to build up other channels. So the gentlemen that were coming in tonight, my goal was not for me to have a show. My goal is to build up their channel. Ubats, you think? My goal is to build up their channels, not mine. I'm good. I'm growing slow and steady. So that's what we do here. Nothing, AOV. It didn't work out. The guys couldn't technologically figure it out. Very simple to do. Not sure what happened. It is what it is. We move along. Plan B is we have a glass of wine with 40 people in the social club. You get exposure by going on these shows. You get exposure by being efficient. You get exposure. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Bang, bang, bang. Griggs, I'm not on the phone now. The wrenches are done for tonight. I don't know who has it, who doesn't. I'm giving them back slow and steady. Right now, I'm paying attention to you. The pet goes sideways. Look on the bright side. Instead of flushing it down, I bury it. I can make it. Oh, I can make a hat. Okay, if the chinchilla dies, I can make a hat. Is that what we can do? Philly Diaz ice cream. So, what else we got going on, guys? Salute to everybody. Mark Info. Hello, how are you? How are you? I'll change the topic later. Look, it is what it is. Things happen. I'm the show here. You're good. You're good here. You got no issues over here. But get a bunch of them and make a coat. No. But I am excited. Does anybody have any experience with a chinchilla? Evan, you were really talking about this? They're quiet? Well, Dave T, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to it. Mark, your brother was in here. Your brother was in here the other night, Mark. Mark Info. Yep. ALV, I couldn't get the wine at my store, just so you know. I couldn't get the wine at my store, so you might be solo tomorrow night. I don't know where you found that wine. I don't know where you found that wine, but my store doesn't have it, so I don't know. I couldn't get it. What's it called? Bottle King. Where'd you get it? Where did you get it? Shipped to your house? Because I couldn't get it. I couldn't get it. Well, they didn't have it in Bloomfield or whatever. What is this one here? Glen Ridge, Orange. Yeah, good luck, Todd Father. Good luck. He picks these exotic wines. And it wasn't happening. It wasn't happening. So I may be absent from the show tomorrow night. Not absent. I'll be in the chat. I can't. What am I going to do? I'm going to drink Paisano, and he's going to drink an expensive, high-class wine. Well, you know what I mean. I know it's not exotic. I just couldn't get it. So, yes. So the only way we would launch this show and resume is if all three guys were in the back room, and their internet was ready to go, right? That's the only way I'm going to do it with them. Because with Craig, I want to do a show with Craig alone. Spotlight his channel. And that's what I would like to do. It's the same thing with anybody else. The Pope of Hell's Kitchen. Yep, Joey is here. Exotic. Thing do what? Oh, nice, Carmine S. Homemade wine. I was once practicing my golf swing in the house living room, and unfortunately, my backswing. Oh, wait a minute, Bobo. You had a chinchilla? I know. It has to be all four, Craig. All four. Jimmy tried to get on. His internet wasn't good. He was foggy. He was cloudy in the background. Chucky baby. No, I don't golf. If all three guys are in the background with a good internet connection, we're good to go. Otherwise, it's a bust. And we just do this. The little fur ball is cute. Well, I'm looking forward to it. What do? They just hang out. That's all they do. They just hang out. That's it. They just hang around. They're in the cage. Dean, did you look up some videos, Dean? William, Brooklyn. Who's here? Yankees for Life is here. Very nice. Very nice. No problem. What do you mean? Stand next to it breathing? Wait. What are you talking about? What do you mean? I got to change this thumbnail and the tag and everything. Let me see if I can do something here. No, I can't. No, I can't change it while I'm on. I'm not going to do that to you guys. I can't wait till that rodent starts shitting all over. Thing do. Come on, be nice. Hello, Silo. How are you? Nice to see you. Thanks for stopping in. Yeah, the show didn't go as planned, so the guys couldn't figure it out technologically. I was opening with a good song. Hello, Oliver Sutton. Nice to see you. Thanks for stopping in. Yep. Anyway. Yes. Well, I can show you the picture. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? No, 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 no. It's better than that. It's better than that. Does anybody know anybody that has had one? Really, seriously. All kidding aside, all kidding aside, does anybody know anybody that has had a chinchilla? I'm serious right now. Everybody lost their wrench, so Ali. I'm setting them all back. Not you lost your wrench, not personally. The whole fan family lost a wrench. I'm adding them back slowly. Yes, okay. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I'm adding them back slowly, guys. No problem. No, it's not a problem. No apologies needed. Where are we going here? This is all the dress rehearsal. Where am I going here? This is not that serious. This is not that serious. Greg, we can't take it that serious. Listen, nobody's making big money on here. We're having a good time. I don't. Here's the thing about me. Look at. My abilities are negative, right? My abilities are negative. My expectations, I don't have any. I don't have any expectations. My desire is to help other channels. Tonight was not for me. Nothing about me, right? Sunday clothes on. So you understand? It's I don't have a like I don't there's no failure, there's no success. I don't have any of that. Fucking having a good time. We're good. That's the good thing about a show like this. Somebody will be like, "Oh my god, he fucked up the show." No, it's just not like that. My expectation is right here. Anything above negative expectation is a good thing for me. I put it like that. Platinum. Platinum, you are crazy. You're hysterical. You are hysterical. Yeah. Keep in mind, what is this now? Oh my God. What the fuck? What the fuck? Oh, hold on. I'm on with my friend. Hold on. Oh my God. My friends are out of their minds. Seriously. Okay, AOV, it's up to you. Sure, we can do that. Yeah, ALV, we can do that. I can get that anywhere, ALV. Absolutely, I can get that anywhere if you'd like to. It's up to you, ALV. You do whatever you feel is the best thing to do. Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. Okay, hold on a minute. Let me see something here. No, I can't do that. Give me a minute here, guys. Give me a minute here, because I may want to do something here. Okay, and I'll definitely do it. I would hate not to do a show with you. I would hate not to do a show with you, you know? Give me a minute, guys. I'm doing something here. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Uh, 1 minute. 1 minute. 1 minute. 1 minute. Because this can be. This can be. Let me see something here. Hold on a minute. Okay. Inbox. Listen. Uh, where are you, Craig? Where are you, Craig? Are you still here? Oh my God. All right, good. Okay, Aunt, I'm good. Whatever you want to do, man. Whatever you want to do. I'm game. I'm good. Me either, Todd. We can all get that. We can all get that. All right, Aunt, we're locked in. Change it. We are live tomorrow night on the Wine Guild ALV. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. We are going to be live tomorrow with the Wine Guild ALV. Do you hear me? Do you hear me? Get it right. Get it right. Okay, I don't know. Larry may jump on. We got to see, guys. Craig, are you still out there or no? Tommy Stig Social Club. Once I had a chinchilla. His name was Lucky Luciano. He Ango. Hello, Jen. How are you? Wait a minute, Jen. Nice to see you. Thanks for stopping in. Who's screaming? I'm screaming? Wait. Am I screaming? You got me coming out of the Bose sound system? Craig, are you still there? This might be good. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens, guys. No, Tony's got a wrench. What do you mean shelf, Tony? What are you talking about? Wait. What's going on here? Nobody is shelved. I cleaned out all the wrenches and I got to put them all back. Where's Silo? Jen? Add as moderator because you're part of the social club. Wait a minute. Hold on a minute here. Where's Tony? Joey Pope. While I'm waiting, I'm fixing up my wrenches tonight, guys. Uh-oh. That's not good. Yeah. Where's Tony? He's here. What do you mean, guys? Tommy, hope all is going well, my man. Joey Frakes. Hello there. Hello there, Frakes. Silo, hello. Jennifer Silo. Chris Truck. Hello, Truck. Well, let's see what happens here, guys. You never know what's going to happen. Oh, you motherfucker, you. You're a sick bastard, you. That picture is incredible. If I can use that for my what do you call it? What's it called? What do you call that shit? All right, I got to fix something. Hold on a minute. Let me see if I can do something real quick here. Can I have a minute, guys? Give me a minute. I'm doing something here. StreamYard. Here's what I need to do. I need to do something. Oh, no. He sent it to me. Nobody's shelved. I cleaned out all the wrenches. That's what I did. Okay, give me a second. Craig, are you still there? Oh, this isn't good. Past. Let me fix this right here. All right. Delete recording. Delete that. All right, we're good, guys. We're good. All right, now we're good. Now we're set. Hello, Jack. How are you? Nice to see you. Thanks for stopping in. Steven Mazzara Gio. How do you say it? How do you say that, guys? How do you say that? Where's my other fucking slide? Here it is. 43 people up in the social club. 43 people. Model, and that's very nice. Got a nice group tonight. I would love for Larry to drop in. I did send him the link again. So we'll see what happens. So we'll see what happens back there. We'll see what happens in the background. All right. Yes. Yeah, no. Absolutely, guys. Give me a minute here. Videos. Yeah. Yeah. I got a nice group here. Yeah. Hold on. I'm here. Let's see if Larry pops in. All right, give me a minute here, guys. I gotta go to a song here. Give me a second. I gotta go to a song. If Larry pops on, we're gonna have Larry. Give me a second.
You're in love with a beautiful woman. It's hard when you're in love with a beautiful woman. You know it's hard. Everybody wants her. Everybody loves her. Everybody wants to take your baby home. You're in love with a beautiful woman. What you bring? You're in love with a beautiful woman. It never ends. You know that's crazy. You wanna trust her. Then somebody hands up when you answer the phone. You're in love with a beautiful woman. Go it alone. Maybe it's just an ego problem. Problem is I've been fooled before. I fell when the friends and faint-hearted lovers, and every time it happens, it just convinces me more. When you're in love with a beautiful woman, watch your eyes.
I see you, Craig.
With a beautiful woman.
I see you, Craig. I see you. Because Larry emailed me, so I don't know what he wants to do. Larry did email me. If you want to call Larry, we can get Larry. It's up to you, Craig. If you want to call Larry, the link is there. I sent it to him, so it's up to you. Toro. Silo, what do you mean? Hold on a minute. Let me fix something here. Give me a second. Give me a second here. Oh, Silo, what happened? Wait a minute. Oh, I see now. Okay, all right. You're good now. You're good. All right, we're fixing things up. I'm fixing things up. Tony just got his too. You're good. You guys are good. I'm working it all out, guys. Like we did last night, we had a good time. Today, we're having a good time. Yep. All right, we're good. I'm working it all out, guys. Slow and steady. If you have respect up in here, you're good. The only thing I would ask from everybody is don't entertain any negativity. Listen, fuck them. They're not coming back. They acted up. I know they're not coming back. But I would only ask that we ignore them. That's all I would ask. Let them go about their business. That means when they got to criticize, it means you own them. What are you yesing, sir? What are you yesing, Craig? Jimmy, it's not going to work out. But if Larry has it, he can do it. I sent Larry the link. Oh, it was crazy last night. It was fucking hysterical last night. Oh, we had a party last night. We had a good time. Where were you, girl? The only thing missing tonight is Antonella. Wait, you don't even have a wrench, Craig? The fuck? I really cleaned house. I see you. I know you're there. I see you there. I do see you there. Yeah, no need for negativity. No. We don't want that here. When they go at you, it means you own them. It's very simple. I see you, Craig. What do you mean? I'm looking right at you. Where are you? What do you mean you're here? I see you. I'm looking at you. You're not in the background. Where are you? Oh, okay. I see Craig. I see him right there. No need to react to trolls. I will handle it. Just ignore it. Gerard knows what to do. Thank you. Nick M, here from the beginning, needs a wrench. All right, I'm adding everything back the way it should be. Okay. Okay. Big Bones, hold on. Big Bones, don't you go. Oh my God, what am I doing? Okay. That's why I call him Jerry the Killer. Listen to me. Listen to me. Listen to me. Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. Leo Getz, right? Leo Getz. Yeah. Okay. What was that from Home Alone, right? Okay. No, I don't know. What was that from Home Alone? Wait a minute. Gatto. Larry asked me for the link. I don't know what he's doing. What is he doing? You want to call him? Go ahead, call Larry. Jimmy can't get on. That's not happening. He doesn't know what he's doing with this stuff. So everything you want, Leo gets. There you go, Toro. You got it. Toro's got it. Toro, you got it. Yes, we're all good here. Let us handle it. From Home Alone. Okay. All right. Home Alone. Yeah. Wait, Lethal Weapon or Home Alone? Okay. No, it's Lethal Weapon. Dean Do. Never will you hear that song on this show right here. It will not happen. Dean Do, I got to tell you something. I got to tell you something very important. Are you ready? Hello, Dean Do. Do you hear me? Craig, can you call Larry? He asked me for the link. Dean Do, are you ready for the news? He's not ready. No, Stigs. I don't want to fucking hear your bullshit anymore. You were wrong about what? Oh, you were wrong about the lethal weapon? Yeah. Caught my nuts. My favorite Christmas movie is Goodfellas. Dindu, I'm getting a chinchilla Saturday, my man. I'm getting a chinchilla on Saturday. And its name is. Hold on, Stacks. Hold on a minute. Hold on, buddy. And her name is going to be Connie Corleone. Very excited about this. I'm very excited about this, okay? That's what we're doing here. Disco Duck. Griggs, no. No Disco Duck, Griggs. No. Absolutely not ever going to hear it. Detroit, Siggy, what's going on? Detroit, Siggy, what is happening? Sonny Money. What is going on, Sonny Money? What's happening? Is this the real Stacks? Yes, that's the real Stacks. No. The one I'm getting is the female, and she is going to be Connie Corleone. I think 2 years, Mike F. I think 2 years. 50 people in the social club. The wrenches were all taken last night. I don't know who has them and who doesn't. No, I'm not getting 2. You want me to get 2 chinchillas? Dindu, should I get 2? Dindu. Should I get 2 chinchillas? No. I don't think so. I don't think we should do that. Where is Craig? I keep asking if you're there. Did you call? Did you call Larry? I'll still kick it off if he wants to come on. I could just edit the show. It's very simple. Save us, Carmela. Okay. Okay. Okay, Bucky. So that in this chat, not necessary, Bucky. Not necessary. Sticks, you should get it too. They need a companion. How big do they get? You want a pet monkey? Let's ask the Googles. How big do chinchillas get? Let's ask the Googles. Hello, Googles. How big does a chinchilla get?
According to National Zoo, chinchillas have 9 to 14-inch long bodies and 3 to 6-inch bushy tails.
That wasn't my question. That was not my question. Wait, was that my question? No. Wait, what was my question? What was the question? What was my? How big do they get? Oh. How big do chinchillas get?
According to National Zoo, females weigh up to 1.76 pounds, while males only weigh about 1 pound.
Okay. Okay, we're good. Are chinchillas easy to care for? What happened? My Google broke. You gonna fucking answer me? Are you gonna answer me? You sound like a married man. Nobody answers. What was the question? Oh, are chinchillas easy to care for?
According to Quality Cage, are chinchillas high maintenance? Chinchillas require a great deal of commitment and responsibility, but this can be said for every other pet, too. The only difference is that they require a couple of chinchilla-specific items like relatively large cages for its size, dust baths, and chinchilla-safe food.
Okay, so I got a 4-story condo for the chinchilla. Wait till you see the setup I got. I got it. I'm good. Let you know if Larry pops in. Did you call him? Did you tell him? I'm a little shy. Yeah, but I'm getting it. Oh, the dust bath. I can't wait for the dust bath. I'm so excited. Woo! Chalky tomorrow. Doesn't everybody's? Holler. Babysit the monkey, yeah. Oh my God. I told you, don't feed them after midnight. Dude, did you see what Evan just said? Don't feed them after midnight. There ain't a soul in my life that's getting fed past midnight. We're done at midnight. I think 2 years, Gianni. I think 2. How can I tell you if he comes on? Did you reach out to him, Craig? We believe YouTube has a minor virus attack. This is all the issues lately. Don't get them wet. I know about that. Yeah, whatever. I sent him the link. It's okay. If not, this is just a social club, a wind down, a regular wind down. No expectations. None. 0. 0, 0, 0. Oh my God. You are out of your mind. You guys are nuts. Gremlins in the way you can't. Yeah, dude, we're done after 12. You think I'm feeding a chinchilla after 12? Okay, I'm excited. Okay? I miss the baby boy. I miss Luca. I got Nico at my girl's house. I know I got Nico at my girl's house, but I miss the baby boy. Oh my God, it still smells like Luca. It still smells like Luca. Yeah. Well, who do we got back here? We got Larry. Larry, hang out back there. Craig, hit the link. Larry, you hear me back there, buddy? Larry, can you hear me? Okay, give me a minute. I got Larry in the back. Let's see if we can get Craig on. Craig, are you there, sir? Craig, are you there? Let's see. We're going to give this a shot. We'll give it a shot. This should be good. Give me a minute, Larry. Give me a minute. I can't hear you yet. So when you come on, make sure Larry's in the studio. I need you in the studio, Craig. Okay, Larry. So what you have to do is you're going to be in StreamYard. You got to make sure that you shut YouTube once you pop on to StreamYard. We're coming out of YouTube and going into StreamYard. I can't hear you talking yet, though, Larry. Give me a minute. Let's wait till Craig pops in, and then we'll all go on together. All right? Nicey nice. We'll have a little conversation. I'll edit the show later. It'll be good. It'll be nicey nice. Craig, you're not in the studio. I need you in the studio. Let's get Craig back there. Jimmy had a problem with his technological stuff, so we're going to get right into it if Craig comes back in. Yeah. Call him Lucas Stiggs Jr. No, I don't know. Just hold on, Larry. Okay, we got Craig. All right, Craig, we're going to try this again. You're up there?
I'm here, brother.
Okay, let's get Larry on.
Larry says he's in the studio.
Well, hold on. I see him.
Okay.
If we get feedback, Larry, you got to shut your YouTube in the background. Let's give this a shot. Hello, my man. Can you hear
There
me?
he is, my paisan, Larry.
Let me set him up. Hold on. Can you hear me? Larry, can you hear me, Larry?
I hear you. Can
No
you
background
hear me?
noise. Yeah, I hear you perfectly. No background noise, no nothing. You're a pro at this. You're an all-star. All
Yeah,
right? So this technical stuff is crazy, right?
it's too crazy for me.
It is nuts. It's hard to get it right. It's not easy. It's not easy. So hey, it didn't work out as planned. We went to plan B. I went to a little chat with with my crew and a little patience, and we got a crew up here. So
Well, I feel good. I'm with all the heavyweights tonight.
No, we're with you, Cap.
we are
And
with
that
you.
guy,
Yeah.
and Tommy, I never knew this. He had a Sinatra night. He has a whole Sinatra thing going.
The month.
And the whole, yeah, I didn't know that. I was breezing through and I saw that.
So every morning I do the morning show Coffee, and I open up with the first song that I hear every morning by Sinatra. Because as soon as I get up, I put on the news, not for the news, because the news is horrible. I go to weather and local traffic, and then I go right to Pandora and I put Sinatra on. So for this whole month, Sinatra, I named it Sinatra Month. I'm just doing the song that I first hear, give a little background on it, and move along. And people seem to enjoy it.
I've been in the horse business since the early '60s, and every barn I was ever in, I put speakers up and had Sinatra playing.
Did you really?
Yeah,
There used to be a house. There used to
I'm,
be a house
I'm-
on the boardwalk in Point Pleasant that played Sinatra all day and night. If you went down the end of the Point Pleasant boardwalk in New Jersey, went all the way down the end, there was this one house all summer and winter. He just had Sinatra playing out of his speaker, out of his house. Beautiful.
Now I'm going to tell you something. The only reason I'm going to go into this story is because you look like and you sound like a friend of mine. His name was Jimmy Christie. I don't know if you ever heard of him, but he was from Jersey.
Yeah.
And his brother Sal, who was an ex-cop, he worked for me. And we were talking one day. I was putting Sinatra on the speakers at the barn. And he says, I can't tell if that's my brother or Sinatra. And I said, what are you talking about? I'll try to make this very, very short because it's very, very long.
Okay.
And just believe everything I say so I don't have to go into particulars. I told Sal, I says, listen, I've been listening to Sinatra and I heard every impersonator in the world, including Piscopo. I says, and not one ever even comes close. I says, so if you think your brother sounds like him, I says, do me a favor, send your brother here or tell me where he's playing. I went to see where he was. It was unbelievable. And believe me, I'm the biggest Sinatra critic in the world. And it was unbelievable. Before I got into the showroom, I heard him and I couldn't believe it. So to make a long story real short, I brought him to Florida, and I was promoting a bunch of rooms, the fall wall of rooms. And I brought him to Florida, and the guy at the oh God, it was called the Seven Seas Lounge downstairs at one of the hotels, the big hotel down there. I forgot the name of it. Anyway, he says, he's nice. I wanted a fall wall showroom he had. And he says, I can't stand these Sinatra sound-alikes and this and that. He says, none of them sound the same. They just sing the same songs. So I says, listen, it says at the bottom of the steps is the entrance to the Seven Seas Lounge. And I says, you stand on the other side of the door. I'm going to play a Sinatra record because I had the boombox thing with me. And I says, I'm going to play a Sinatra song, and I'm going to make Jimmy play the same song because I have tapes that we use to promote Jimmy rather than carrying around an 18-piece orchestra. Uh-huh. So that's what we did. So I says, and you tell me which one is Sinatra. And I think the song we played was it wasn't an upbeat song because everybody sounds pretty good upbeat. It's a slow song called I'll Only Miss Her. I don't know if you know the song or not, but that was the song, I'll Only Miss Her. And if you don't know the song, you should look it up. It's a great song. So anyway, I played Sinatra's version, and then I played Jimmy's version, just with him singing to the background, the same orchestration, same Nelson Riddle thing. And the guy guessed strong. The guy who was a Sinatra freak guessed strong, and I got the room. So so what I did was I after much success, and we got a standing ovation. I fall wall the room at this. I think it was this. This was a long time ago, so I'm going to get things screwed up, but you'll get the drift of it. I fall wall the room at the Sands in Atlantic City, and it was packed. And he got a standing ovation. And I then took over the Supper Club in Manhattan, 47th Street and Broadway. Wow. It was probably the only cabaret left in town. And I took it over and redid the whole room. And I was going to have Jimmy in there year round. And so I put together an 18-piece band. And I put posters all over Manhattan, and I was on the radio show. I think it was WNEW, and on and on and on and on. So anyway, I'm ready to open the show, and I get a letter from Sinatra's lawyer saying cease and desist, stop immediately, and everything else.
What?
And I got so mad, and the reason was because when we were at Atlantic City, we got 3 or 4 offers for him to go to Vegas. And anyway, he must have heard about it, and because he never stopped nobody else from imitating him. So, but my show was called A Tribute to Frank Sinatra. Anyway, we stopped it. He stopped it. So now, but I already took over the room. I already did. I must have spent a few $100,000 fixing this whole room up. And if we ever meet someday, I have pictures of the room. I have pictures of the posters that I had to remake, and in fact, I got one on my phone. I'll send it to you, Craig.
All right.
And gigantic posters, maybe 2 feet by 4 feet. And the whole outline of the poster, the whole border was all the little stage lights, and in each stage light was the name of the writer, the songwriter. Of the songs that Sinatra made, and I renamed the show A Tribute to Great Composers.
Really? That's smart.
He couldn't do nothing about it. I'm going to send you the poster because this story is going to sound unbelievable.
Well, look, I'm not far from you. You're in the area, so we'll definitely make that happen.
Okay.
We'll do it in person. We'll do it together in person.
All right, let me tell you
a Sinatra show together in person.
Can I finish the story real quick?
Yeah. Yes.
So now So now we do the show, and what I do is I go to ASCAP and I ask for all the pictures of all the producers, like Sammy Kahn and all the songwriters that wrote the songs for Sinatra. And I put up a 6 by 8 foot screen behind on a stage, but behind and higher than Jimmy would sing, and a projector on the other side of the room, and then I had a whole medley, about a 7 minute, of all the songs, a collage of all the songs, one going into another, of all the songs that a lot of the songs that Sinatra sang. And the name of the show, I named it I've Heard That Song Before, a tribute to great composers, starring Jimmy Christie and Andy Zub's 18-piece, or maybe it was 28 pieces, I forgot, but it's on the billboard, it's on the thing, orchestra. And I start marketing. Now I started marketing about 2 months before, and it was costing me a lot of money. And one day it was getting close, and I says, let me put an ad in the Sunday Times, the New York Times. And a 3x3 ad cost $5,000 for one day. So I'm sitting there and I'm adding up all the money I'm paying out for for ads, to advertisement to market this thing. And I says, you know what? I says, I could give away a meal, because we held about 350 people downstairs, and upstairs the whole place held 1,300 people, and we had 12 o'clock midnight, we had a disco where they had to pay $30 to get in. We had 1,300 people. But anyway, for downstairs, so what I did was I made together, and I have this too, I think if I could find it, I made invitations, just like White House invitations, and I mailed them to Mayor Dinkins, who was the mayor at the time, and the police commissioner, fire commissioner, and invited them all for a free dinner and show to see, and all the chief concierges at all the hotels in Manhattan. And naturally everybody from WNEW, the radio station. I had Tony Camillo, the guy who wrote some of the arrangements for me, who did Gladys Knight and the Pips, Midnight Train to Georgia and them. Mm-hmm. And I had all of them with there, including Dinkins, the mayor, who loved big band music. And There was dinner from 6 to 8, from 6 to 8. I may have this wrong, the hours, but I just say it was dinner from 6 to 8. Then showtime from 8 to 9. After showtime was a tribute to Count Basie, and then dance music, and then by 11:30 everybody had to leave because the disco guys started upstairs, and everybody was there. Okay, so now I'll get to the bottom. I'll end this right now. My partner loved one song that Sinatra did. He just loved it, and he wanted to have a rehearsal every day at the studio with the full orchestra. It cost a lot of money every day to have 18 New York musicians come, and just to hear his favorite song, which was Curse of an Aching Heart, that Sinatra did. So day of the show comes, we have everything planned, and after the whole orchestration in the beginning, it was a black curtain. As soon as the music started, the black curtain opened. There was a sheer curtain behind it, and where all you saw was the whole band. And when we got to the end of that whole collage, the last song on it was, it seems to me I've heard that song before. And then all of a sudden, from a musical of all the songs you hear, it seems to me I've heard that song. And everybody's saying, now the curtain is still a sheer curtain, and you can see a body walking through the band, and you hear, and it sounds like you think it's Sinatra. And then as he gets to the front of the curtain, it opens up, and you see it's Jimmy. He finishes the song to a standing ovation, and then he continues saying, I guess by now you know what this show is all about. It's a tribute to these great songwriters that wrote the American Songbook, and on and on and on and on. The reason the show ended was because there was almost a murder committed, because what Jimmy did, because we had a lot of major producers there and a lot of major people, and Jimmy didn't want to do no upbeat songs because he says you could hear his voice better doing a ballad. So he took 2 or 3 upbeat songs out, and one of the upbeat songs he took out was my partner's favorite song.
Oh my
Now,
God.
my partner was sort of a wise guy, a little, and he always carried a couple of pistols with him. And I had a room upstairs where Jimmy came in at 3 o'clock and he stayed there. And then after the show, he used to go home to Jersey and take all the charts with him, because the charts cost me close to $100,000, because we had charts made, a lot of them Billy May charts and all the famous charts, but we had them changed just enough so Sinatra couldn't say nothing. So it cost me a lot of money, but so Jimmy took him home with him. But anyway, after the show, Jimmy goes up to the room, and my partner comes over to me and he says some nasty stuff. He says, "Where is he?" I says, "He's probably upstairs." And I didn't know what he was going to do. I didn't even realize that he left that song out, because I was so busy talking with Liza Minnelli and the mayor. And so anyway, I go up to the room, and Jimmy is up against the wall. My partner has him by the neck with a gun in his mouth. And Jimmy's brother, Sal, who's an ex-cop, has a gun in my partner's head. And it took me about a half hour to calm that situation down. And Jimmy quit. And that was the end of that. I made the story really short, but anyway, that's how much I like Sinatra. And Jimmy was scared to death, and he wound up moving to Florida, where he still lives today. He was my partner. He really thought my partner would kill him, and he probably would. But anyway, everybody's alive and well, and that's my Sinatra story.
That is crazy.
That's a good
But
one.
you reacted to a situation and made something work right there. You had to
Think
make
on your
something
feet.
out of it. I can't
Absolutely.
believe you got a season.
You know, Tommy, you sound just like Jimmy. You sound exact, and you even look like him. You look like Jimmy, and that's the problem Jimmy had, because he wanted to look like Sinatra. He wanted me to pay to get him plastic surgery, and I wouldn't do it. I says, you're not going to be, you can't go, because he's gonna go after you. And we're not gonna market Sinatra. We're not gonna say anything about Sinatra. We're not gonna mention him. We're gonna mention all the guys, Sammy Kahn, and all the guys that wrote all the songs that he sang. So forget about it. But he looked like you and he talked like you. But when he sang, it was unbelievable. In fact, somewhere along the way, I taped one of the shows we did, and I have it someplace. I'm going to find that one song he did, I'll Only Miss Her, and I'm going to put it on a little CD or something. So when I meet with you for lunch or dinner one day, I'm going to bring the poster, and I'm going to bring that song so you can hear them.
I'm looking forward to it. We'll have a nice time. We'll do that. Okay, guys, let me just introduce them. That's Larry right up there, Larry Rolla. And Craig just dropped off. So Craig was here, but Craig dropped off. So we didn't know how we're going to go about this. I don't like this to be like an interview. With the way I do this stuff, it's basically just a sit down, a talk, a chit chat, and it'll be one of many. You know what I mean? We don't have to get everything out at one time. I got to tell you, though, everybody is complimenting on your picture behind you.
The horses.
Is there a little story behind that? Well, let's set the tone, because Larry is the racehorse guy. He has a million stories about racehorses, and he can go on forever. But you don't want to go and go and go. So what's the short story about that picture behind you? Because that is absolutely magnificent. Look at that picture back there. That is beautiful.
All right, the story about that picture. Can I go back a little further, and then
You can do whatever you want to do.
All right. In 1974, Frank Collada did me a big favor. For those of you that are listening that don't know who Frank Collada is, if you saw the picture Casino, Joe Pesci was Tony Spilotro. Tony Spilotro and Frank Collada were partners. They weren't partners. Frank Collada was the button guy for Spilotro, and the Chicago crew sent him out to Vegas to watch the skim and all of that stuff. But in '74, I got myself in a bit of a spot, and Colada and Palazzo helped me out of this spot.
A little
So
bit.
many years later, Frank calls me up and he says, listen, he says, I'm writing another book. He says, remember that situation we had? And I said, yeah. He says, you mind if, he says, all the statute of limitations are all over and this and that. I become a government witness. So he says, do you mind if I write that in one of the chapters? So I says, well, what do I care? I don't care. Go ahead. So I see him in a way. He does. And he sends me the book, which I still haven't read. And this was back. And I met him at a wedding in California. And he says to me, you should write your own life story, because they knew of my life and what I've been doing. And they knew of the jackpot I was in, where they helped me out of, but they all made millions of dollars. Yeah. So he says, he says, I get asked more about that chapter than anything, because after a while he was running the mob tours in Vegas, taking people out in his bus to the desert where he was burying all the bodies and all of that stuff. Wow. So he convinced me to write my book. Now, my friends, naturally, you're in the same area, so Frankie Vincent, Joe Pesci, all of them guys. Everybody grew up together.
Absolutely.
And so they convinced me to write a book, and Frank Vincent wrote the foreword for the book, and everybody wrote something nice. And I make a long story short, I wrote the book, and I self-published it. And one of them guys sent it out to California. I don't know who it was, but so I get a phone call from Paul Bernard and Steve Moscow. So Paul Bernard's him and his brother run Sony Pictures, and Steve Moscow runs Village Roadshow. They're the largest distribution company in the whole country. They deal with 180 countries for distribution of TV and motion pictures. So they sent for me, and I go out there, and we make a deal. 3 months later, after all the contracts are signed and everything, they're going to make a movie or a TV series. So I had 2 contracts written up. One was for a $100 million movie budget, of which I was going to get 2.5% right up front, and I wanted that. But Nicholas Pileggi, who wrote Casino and Goodfellas and all them things, I met with him 3 or 4 times, him and Richard Price and Ed Burns. And they convinced me that it should be a TV series, because there's too much information that in there, that a movie would have to be a 10-hour movie with a lot of voiceovers, and it should be a TV series, which I didn't want, because I wanted the $2.5 million.
Yes.
But they're trying to convince me that you make more money in a TV series. And I told them, I says, my life expectancy was 5 years ago. I says, I'm 83. Where am I going? Just give me the $2.5 million. Let me shoot to Vegas and die in bed with a hooker. So that was my mindset. So anyway.
Oh my God.
Anyway.
Strike one.
That's great. I love it.
So anyway, we have everything set, and we're set to go out there. And we make all the arrangements to go out there right after New Year's of 2020. And 2019 New Year's, we go out there, and everybody's dying COVID. So COVID hits, and everybody's dying. So they close everything down. They stop all production. And I was one signature away from my $2.5 million, or the advance they were going to give me as a writer and producer and everything for the TV series. So 2 years later, last year, they get in touch with me and they said, listen, we're reopening now, and we'd like to, our option, they bought my life story for 16 months. They optioned it for 16 months. They paid me, and 16 months during COVID ran out. So I told them that I would sign if they could. And because of my age, I says, look, if you can get to it right away, I'll resign. And they said that they couldn't promise me that because they had a lot of major motion pictures in the middle of that they had to stop. So I said, okay, I'm not going to resign. Within a week, I get a call from Nick and Frank Valalongo, who wrote the movie Green Book. And their father was a good friend of mine, Tony Lip, who you probably know.
Yeah.
And they want to do my movie. So they fly out to Frank comes out first. He stays with me for 2 weeks. Then his brother Nick comes out, and I'm making this real short. And we're looking for locations. We're looking for actors and this and that and everything. And then Frank calls me up one day and he says to me, listen, my brother Nick has to shoot back to California for 2 weeks. You mind if I stay with you? Because he stayed with me for 2 weeks and we got along well and he loved hearing the stories about his father.
Yeah.
So I said, sure. So he says, I'll be there tonight. That was Monday night. Monday night, he don't show up. Tuesday night, don't answer the phone. Wednesday, don't answer the phone. Thursday, I get a phone call. They found him dead in the Bronx.
Oh, man.
Picked up a hookah, bought some cocaine laced with fentanyl. They found him dead behind the steering wheel. At the funeral and the repast, his brother says, look, I have to go back to California, put everything on hold for 2 or 3 months till I straighten all of this out. And probably maybe 6 months later, maybe a little shorter, maybe shorter than that, I get a phone call from Barry O'Brien, who's the writer with Dick Wolf for Law and Order and all of them kind of shows.
Wow.
And he said, I read your book. He says, I understand that nobody has the contract on your story yet. I'd like to do a TV series. And I had nothing else going. So I said, okay. And the reason I started the podcast was to promote the first thing. We started it, me and Frankie Vincent started it in 2019. We ended it as soon as I got the deal with Sony Pictures. Then when Sony Pictures COVID started, we started the podcast again, then ended it when we got to the Valalongo brothers, who, by the way, won the Academy Award for Green Book and the best award for the best screenwriter. And so we're at this point right now where tomorrow at 3:00 I have finally the writer's strike is over and the and the actor's strike is over. So they just called me. We're having a conference call, Zoom call tomorrow at 3:00 and to figure out if I go to California, how we're going to proceed. Now, because I went through all of that, I forgot the question that I was asked. And so what was it?
The beautiful picture behind you.
Oh, okay.
Where did it come from?
While the writer's strike was over, while the writer's strike and the actor strike was still going on a few months ago, we continued we started the podcast up again. And I was looking for studios that would allow me to stay for 8, 10 hours, 12 hours. And I couldn't find one. They only wanted 4 hours and that was it. So I started renting hotel rooms, but I could never get the same room with the same backdrop and everything. So I decided I says, you know what, rather than go crazy every week, I'm going to set up a room in my house because I have a finished basement downstairs. And I'm going to make one of them rooms a little studio. And so now I set up this room with the 3 cameras and the lights and everything and plants. And I needed something for a backdrop. So I put drapes and I tried every kind of backdrop. And I didn't like none of them. So I had moved into this house recently, and that picture was at my other house, but there was no room in this house for that. There was no room. Not that there was no room. The picture didn't belong in any room because we got all different furniture, and it just didn't fit. So I threw it out. So now I was trying to figure out, I put the last lights up and everything, and I'm trying to figure out what the hell to use for a backdrop. So while I was thinking about it, I went upstairs to get a cup of coffee, and I'm looking to see if the garbage man came because I want to bring the garbage pails in. And that picture behind me, I threw out. It was in the garbage. It was right behind, right alongside the garbage pail and a big box of cardboard that I had. And it was just like garbage men never came. They didn't come yet. So I says, maybe that picture, maybe that's had horses on it, maybe that picture. So I went out and I got it out of the garbage and I hung it up, and that's where it is right now.
Wow.
Now I got that picture because years ago I walked past an art studio and I saw that picture in the window. And naturally, I was in the horse business. I love horses. And I went in and I asked him about the picture. And I said, is that a painting? He says, no, because when you're up close, it looks three-dimensional. But it's not a painting. It's more like a silk screen. I don't know what it is. All I know is it cost me a few $1,000s, and it's nice, and everybody likes it. And that's, if the garbage men would come about 5 minutes earlier, they would have been in a dump someplace.
Wow.
Sorry about
Tommy,
Craig, can you imagine that?
Well, amazing. But anything, Larry, it touches, it turns into like something crazy or amazing. And I believe it 1,000,000%. Larry, I got to ask you a question. Tommy, you don't mind? I just got to ask Larry something. We all know the story of how Gianni Russo tells the world on how, he got his part in The Godfather. So I figured now would be the best opportunity, Tommy, for me to ask Larry, can you pull any strings? I'm out of work. Maybe you get me a job, on the set. Maybe they need somebody just to throw out the garbage, maybe throw somebody through a window. I don't know. It doesn't have to be a speaking part. Just get me on the set.
Oh my God.
let me
I don't have to talk.
Let me say this.
I'm only kidding. You know that, pal.
Thousands and thousands and thousands of people died because of the virus.
Yeah.
Stop my movie, a TV series, from happening.
Absolutely.
3 years later, after millions of people died around the world because of the virus, I refused to re-sign. So I re-signed with somebody. Then what happened with that somebody? He killed himself with the fentanyl.
I know.
Now I hook up with Barry. This is all since 2019. Now we're in 2023. And now I hooked up with Barry O'Brien in April, and we're supposed to fly out May 1st. And May 1st, the writer's strike. So he says, cancel your ticket. We're not going. Now it's at this point. Now, so far in the last, 5 years, everything in the world, whatever could happen for this not to happen, happened. Now, everybody involved in this is half my age or a lot younger.
I got you.
I'm 84.
God bless.
Something gotta happen. So if everything goes okay, the next thing is me dying.
No, God forbid. No.
What else could possibly happen? The writer's strike is over.
Yeah, I know.
So I don't know. If there's any way that I could help you or anybody else,
I know. I'm only joking. You know that, pal.
Yep. It's crazy.
Well, you know what happened? You know, when Jake LaMotta, him and his wife Vicky, this is another thing I don't understand. Jake LaMotta had two wives, Vicky. Nobody ever talks about the second Vicky. Second Vicky I grew up with. She was from Flushing, Queens.
Oh, there we go. Flushing.
And she was married to a good friend of mine, Jerry Hayde. And at that time, Jake LaMotta was married to Vicky, who was the cosmetic, gorgeous woman. But then they got a divorce, and then he married this Vicky. Now, this Vicky I knew. She come up to me in Monticello, and she said to me, she says, with her and Jake LaMotta, and they says, look, we're making a movie about Jake LaMotta's story. De Niro's living with us in our apartment downtown, and we're looking for guys like you that speak and look like you and this and that and the whole thing. And I said, listen, I says, at that time, I was in serious trouble. I couldn't, I didn't want to.
Bad idea. Right. Bad idea.
Look, I says, I appreciate the offer, but I'm not an actor. It took me 6 months to be able to do this. I don't do that.
Yeah.
So anyway, I says, listen, why don't you go everybody, meaning Pesci, they all had, my friend Alfred, they all had bands. And Frankie Vincent, Pesci played the guitar, Frankie played the drums, Alfred played the saxophone. They all had their own groups. And Frankie Valli, in fact, I have pictures which I'll show you of Pesci cutting my friend Alfred's hair when they were kids. They were in the they were barbers. That's what they were.
Yeah.
And then they did these lounge acts and comedy bits and everything else. And what they were doing, they were filming them and they all got agents because Atlantic City was opening. They all wanted jobs in the lounges in Atlantic City. So anyway, that's how they wound up getting it. De Niro started looking at all these films, and he saw Pesci. And I'm sure you know the story about how Pesci, Hero called Pesci, and when he was the maitre d' in the club there. I'm sure you know that story.
Absolutely.
That's how they all started, and I could have been in The Sopranos. I could have been in 2 or 3 of them movies, but it's, I'm not an actor. I
got you. You are who you are. That's right. I get it.
Joe Pesci lived 2 miles from where I'm at right now. Where he grew up. And he graduated from the high school I graduated from, Joe Pesci.
Wow.
And he used to work at a restaurant in the Bronx. Joe Pesci was a waiter in the Bronx.
Yeah, Tony, and the name of the joint was right on Arthur Avenue, right off Arthur Avenue. Tony and something. It's it's still there. It's still there. It's still there.
Yeah. But he would either commute from here. He would either commute from here and go work out there and come back. And he stayed in Jersey. He never left Jersey.
Well, he left now. He's permanently sold his house down in.
Was he in Hollywood now, California?
Yeah, he's in California. He plays golf every day. That's
what
he did.
He sold the house down the Jersey Shore and he split.
Yeah.
I heard Tommy. Larry could probably, and if Jimmy was here, he probably. I think we spoke about this, but I had heard that the part that he played in Goodfellas, he really based it off of his interaction. And I don't know if this is accurate, that he grew up with Cabert, and that's the kind of character Cabert was, and that's who he was really channeling, the Cabert character.
Well,
is that accurate? Is that correct?
Jimmy's father was sitting at the bar, and Stefan, I forgot the name of the place.
Yeah,
and Pesci was in there, and that scene that almost word for word what he said in the movie.
Cabert.
What Cabert said when he hit that guy with the think I'm funny with the bottles though.
Sorry, Tom.
And every one of them guys, every one of them,
man,
mob guys are all, and you couldn't help it because they owned all the nightclubs and they all were in a band.
Yeah.
If you watch the podcast I had when I had Alfred on, if you did you see that one with Alfred?
No, I probably missed it, but I've seen just about every one.
Well, this one was 2 podcasts ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago. Alfred was on. Alfred today, and for the last 20 years, is Joe Pesci's stand-in and double.
Oh, okay.
Aside from being childhood friends and playing each other's bands and everything. And Alfred had a great band. He was on Ed Sullivan and everything. Alfred was a heavyweight. Anyway, he sat here right next to me in that podcast 2 or 3 weeks ago, and he starts talking about all the clubs he was in and all of that stuff, and it lasted about an hour. He's going to come back and tell some more, but all of them club owners were mobbed up, and so them guys from Sinatra all the way down, you can't help being involved with them.
No way around it.
It's just the way it is,
especially
around here. I mean, being from Belleville, it was just what it was. It's just what it was. Yeah. Everywhere you go, a social club, almost all the 5 families were represented here. It was just the way it was back then.
No different than growing up in the boroughs, I gather. Same shit.
And every great singer in the world come from New Jersey.
Yeah. Wow. That's saying something.
I was just on with Frankie Valli's daughter just before I came on this show, and he has he has a residence now at a place in Vegas. I don't know which hotel it is, but he has a residence now, 4 shows a year. at 90 years old, 4 shows a year.
Frankie
Which
Valli's 90.
Just turning 90. He'll be turning 90.
Wow, God bless, man.
Yeah,
He's
80. Alfred's 87.
87.
Wow,
So
God
he signed
bless.
up. He sealed the deal, and he's going out to Vegas. He's going to be doing 4 shows a year, which, God forbid.
Amazing. God bless.
But
That's right. Yeah,
what a way to end it if it does.
yeah.
4 shows a year. 4 shows a year. One
Making
for
money.
all 4 seasons he's doing.
Yeah. Wow.
How does that?
Speaking
One
of
for
the
all
4
4
seasons.
That's how he's finishing it.
Speaking of the 4 seasons, you Jersey guys would know. You know, I heard that guy, the original member, Tommy DeVito. I heard he was something else. I heard he was a piece of
I
work.
was invited to his 90th birthday party, and
Piece of work, Tommy.
I took Juicy out there with me. Juicy and him grew up together, you know. In
Tommy
fact,
DeVito. Wow.
yeah. Tommy DeVito's
Amazing.
first jail stint was because of Juicy. They got caught. That was the time when Frankie Valli was there. They let Frankie Valli go because he was only 16, but he was one of the guys, along with Jimmy's father, who got caught. Tommy DeVito, the guy who formed the 4 seasons, the one that brought Frankie over there. But Tommy DeVito's first jail sentence was because of Jimmy's father, Juicy.
Yeah.
And we got a million pictures of all them pictures.
I know. I could imagine.
I was invited, and I brought Juicy out there. Me and Juicy and Juicy's wife went out to California for his 90th birthday, and he was just he was something, because after they bought him out here, after they bought him out from the 4 seasons, whether he wanted out or whatever, but they paid off all his gambling debts and everything.
Yeah.
And he went out there. Then he became Pesci's chauffeur when he was out there.
Yeah.
Really?
And I would call him up periodically when I was fixing them races, and because he was another one, a degenerate gambler.
Oh, yeah.
So I'd call him up and help him out once in a while with some tips and everything, and he was able to bet out there. And that was Tommy DeVito. His daughter is a lovely, lovely, lovely lady, and she swore she was going to write a book. Me and Alfred tried to talk into it, and not write about right before and after the Jersey Boys. What happened, how his life was before and how his life was after, and maybe correct some of the things that even though it was pretty accurate, the Jersey Boys was pretty accurate.
It was pretty accurate, but Frankie Valli did not like what's his name doing producing it. Was not happy with it. No, who produced it? Who produced Jersey Boys? Who was it?
The movie.
The play, you mean? The play.
The play?
No, the movie. The
movie. A big name. Big name.
What's his name?
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
You know,
I had dinner with him.
It wasn't Palminteri or De Niro, was it?
No, Clint Eastwood.
Clint Eastwood.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, I had dinner with him at Mateo's in
he was not happy
in California.
Frankie Valli
it was a terrible movie anyway. It wasn't.
Yeah.
Was it? Yeah.
But it could have been good. It's unfortunate because it could have been good.
Yeah. It's a great story.
He was not happy with it at all. He walked off. Frankie Valli walked off. He was not happy with it one bit.
And yet the play was a sensation. Everybody loved the play. It went on. It's still going on, I think.
I can't believe that play made more money than any other Broadway production.
Imagine.
I still can't believe it, but they say it, so I guess it's true. I don't know.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Now, when I went to see it for the first time, sometimes he references Newark and sometimes he references Belleville.
Oh,
How
Frankie?
did they feel when they opened the show? The one that I happened to be at, because Stephen Crane Village is on the border of Belleville and Newark. It's right there. 1 block. It's actually on the border of Belleville and Newark. So sometimes it's been debated: is it Belleville? Is it Newark? We know it's Newark, and we know Frankie Valli's from Newark, not Belleville.
I have pictures. I have pictures of Frankie Valli with his kids. I have pictures of him the front of the house and the back of the house, because Juicy and Jimmy live right across the yard from there. There's a fence, and then there's the hospital there, and that's where what the hell's the name of that hospital?
Clara Moss, that's my hospital.
Moss, yeah, Clara Moss Hospital's right there. And I have and his mother, and I asked Juicy, I says, the guy's worth $30 million. Why didn't he move his mother out? But they said his mother wanted to stay there. She didn't want to move.
And my nana died there. They both died there. My nana lived in there too. They died there. That was it.
Yeah.
They treated it like a castle.
Yeah.
It's a housing project. You wouldn't know my nana was in a housing project. When you went in there, it was like her castle.
Wow.
Spotless, clean. And his mother was probably, I'm assuming, the exact same way. They treated it with respect. It was public housing, but they treated it with respect. They were grateful for it, which is great. But so when they opened up Jersey Boys, the first time I went, they said it all started under a street lamp in Belleville, New Jersey. And everybody, you could see how many people from Belleville were there. They went bananas. And then maybe the next show he would say Newark, New Jersey. They wanted to work the crowd. They wanted to make it, local, kind of local, So it worked out nice. It was great. It was awesome to see. It was something to see. It really was. The way
Tell me,
they did
you live in Jersey your whole life?
My whole life, neighborhood. Left here for 20 years, got married, went to the suburbs, and came right back when I got divorced. I'm here. I love it. I'm still in Essex County. I'm a mile from the house I grew up in.
Wow.
I love it. I don't know. Something about it. When I was getting divorced, I said, what am I going to do? I don't know these people in the suburbs. I'm not a suburban type of guy. I came up here to raise kids in a better environment than I grew up in. I did it. I got them to school. I get divorced. I said, where am I going? I got to go right back. Although I don't want to get mixed up in the shenanigans that I was once involved in. I want to be around. And I'm still here. So I love it. It's crazy.
Where do you live, Craig?
Larry, I'm glad you asked, because I was starting to feel like you didn't want nothing to do with Queens no more. I'm still where I'm still in Flushing, but I'm on the College Point Whitestone border,
All right, so you're not far. You're just over a couple of bridges.
Yeah, I'm a half mile from where, your childhood friend Tony lived.
Yeah.
About a half mile from Malba.
Yeah.
Yeah, right out of there.
So we should all get together one day, because you live the farthest, so you're.
Yeah, but I come out to Jersey, whatever it is. I think we should hit all the areas. We'll go up to the Bronx. We'll show, whatever I know.
You're talking about the podcast thing. That's it.
Yeah. But you know what? It'd be a beautiful thing. All of us do something. I got to check in with my acting captain, Stigs. Tony Silo's my acting captain. He just got. And Tony knows I spoke to him before the show. He said, keep it low key. He's acting. It's official. He's the acting captain of this crew over here in Queens, even though he's doing it from where he is, 1,500 miles away. He's running the show. And he knows I got his back. So he gave full permission.
I just heard Romanello's in jail now.
There's a case going on, but I don't know, I know what, they hit him with, but, we had a conversation about Ron, but actually the gentleman that I referenced, he grew up in, like you grew up with, Tony, you talked about it with me when you did we had our conversation, and growing up with Ron and them guys, and I told you my interaction with Ron the first time I met him. And, but this gentleman I was just making a joke about, with as being an acting captain, he knows those guys real well. He knew them real well.
Let me make this perfectly clear. I knew them guys, and I grew up with them guys, and but I
chose a different path.
I just couldn't follow the leader, and that wasn't my thing. I've been my own guy since I could remember. But every once in a while, you're in the neighborhood. I remember when the Parkside was just a little bar on the corner.
Yeah.
He had a gym downstairs with a boxing ring.
Yeah, tough guy. Yeah.
And that's what I remember. Next thing I know, 50 years later, he has the Parkside, and I'm walking in there. I couldn't believe it. He says, "Come here, I want to show you my Marilyn Monroe room." He takes me upstairs, and he told me, he says he never bought one thing. They were all gifts from. But he was a heavyweight guy. He was a really good guy too.
Yeah.
Ron
Is it still
Mello-
open? Somebody's asking if the park side is still open.
Yes, I
Oh,
believe
yeah.
so. Yes, 100%. Yeah, Silo, he'll definitely. Yeah, I believe so. 1,000,000%. It's maybe 3 miles from here, Tommy, from where I'm living.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I ate there more than a handful of times. Food phenomenal, not because it was owned by that gentleman. Food phenomenal.
He
And
bought all the food himself. He was first.
Yeah.
Everything was first top shelf in there.
I'll tell you, I had a conversation with somebody earlier, and it's because of his work ethic. And even though as high as he was at one point on that ladder, with the West Side, as they say today, the West Side. I don't know where that came from, but whatever it is, he worked so many hours in that restaurant that the only time I remember him getting in trouble was when he was shooting at pigeons off the roof. He got pissed off and he was trying to shoot at pigeons that were trying to get at his pigeon coop. Honestly, Tony was in that restaurant, and I'm not somebody that was around them or close up, but he was. And Silo could say he lived in that restaurant. That man worked harder than anybody. He made that restaurant. If I'm out of order, somebody tell me. Somebody else made. That man put the hours in.
If somebody spilled the glass of water, he'd get a ray. He'd do it.
He worked harder than anybody. Yeah.
He was
That guy.
very,
Unbelievable.
very, very smart.
And
very,
boy,
very
did he.
top guy.
And I got to tell you, I've seen a lot of guys, dress that I thought dressed it unbelievable. I put him up there with some of the best dressers. I thought he dressed amazing.
I told you, me and him were the same exact size. I went in there one time.
That guy, forget about it.
1990. The guy, Vinny Hogan, who got me my license back. He when he got it back for me, we went to Parkside, and he was dressed up. I never forget it. And I told him, I says, look, we're still, we were the same size since we were kids. And size 40, perfect 40, everything, 34 waist, 31 pants, whatever. And I asked him, I says, listen, I says, I know you're constantly getting these new Brioni suits and having all these clothes made. I says, why don't you give me your leftovers? He was a well-dressed guy. In fact, I mentioned on a podcast that the 3 top guys that dresses, as far as that goes, was John Gotti,
absolutely,
and Mario Gigani, and him, and Joe Watts too. So
I heard Joe. Yeah, they say
I think Gotti got it from Watts and
Queen's guy, but I wasn't. Yeah,
Mario. For them, he was very, very sharp.
I want to share something, Tommy, Larry. I want to share something with you guys because I was just given sent a text, and it answers your question, Larry, about the situation your childhood friend is in Brooklyn right now. He's not being held; he's out, and they believe there's a good chance he's going to beat that case. So I just got that text, and he actually told me to say that. And and Tommy, it's somebody in part of the many-Stigs Social Club.
I got it. Yes. Wow.
All right, and he wanted you to know, Larry, that there's a good chance he's going to be all right and beat this case.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, but
it's hard today, man.
Today it's crazy. Somebody says, even a thing. I know somebody 87 years old. I mean. He's in Jersey, another guy in Jersey, old timer. He's got an ankle bracelet on at 87. He just came home, did 8 or 12, whatever it is, and they're looking to retry him because somebody mentioned his name on the phone. He had nothing, and I'm telling you, I wouldn't say it is what it is. Yes, the life, whatever. They mention his name. They're 80. He's going to be 88. They want to get. Come on, 88. Somebody mentions your name. You got to go through 25 years. Get out of here. He didn't give the guy permission to say anything. I don't know that. Yeah, I'm just telling you what I heard. What I heard.
I want you to do me a favor.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
I had a podcast with
Tommy, we good?
Yeah, we're perfect.
Okay, bud.
I
Go
had
ahead, Larry. I'm sorry.
I did a podcast with and I'd like Tommy to do this is for Tommy too, for both of us.
Good.
I did a podcast with Stax.
Yeah, we know Billy well.
We had a little debate, even though it wasn't a debate.
I heard it. I saw
I
it.
called him and I said, listen, I said, you're coming down on these government informers pretty hard. You're chopping them up pretty good. And I said, listen, I'm only telling you this for your own good. You're going to eliminate 50% of your audience because informants, rats, whatever you want to call them, they got a tremendous following because they're giving them the stories that they want to hear. I says, why don't you just leave it up to Joey Molino and let him do it? And Joey Molino can handle the riffraff and all the other stuff that's going to come at you. You can't. You already got sued for $75,000 from Dominic. I says, why don't you just leave it alone? Leave it up to Joey. Joey has a reason and can handle any situation that comes up. You can't. But he says, do you know how much views I got since I've been doing that? So I says, okay. So anyway, now he comes on my podcast and he says, well, what do you think about the rats? And I said, listen, I says, first of all, I'm neutral. But if somebody looked into my past, I'd be more on your side, Molino's side, because I gave up millions and millions of dollars.
Right.
Not to rat on 4 stumble bums, but they were friends, but they were bust outs. They had nothing, but they made us a little bullshit score. And they come to me because these kids used to work for me and I wouldn't give them up. Okay. Wow. I lost everything.
Wow.
I also lost the 4 people in my life that spent millions of dollars putting me back where I belonged, and opportunities where I would have been today a billionaire, as all 4 of them are today. So I disappointed them by doing that. But however, I still stand neutral because I believe that every one of these guys, you should look at every story as an individual story and just understand the facts of each story. He says, well, give me an example. And I says, well, one example that comes to my mind right away is one I'm personally involved with, was Frank Collada. And I know that the guy tried to kill himself twice. It took him 10, 12 years of crying to try to get over what he did. But he was in a jail cell when the FBI came and let him listen to a recording from Chicago to Spalatro saying, what are you doing down there? You know, you're screwing everybody's wife. We're getting a lot of heat up here for things that you're doing down there. And he went on and on and on. And Spalatro says, it ain't me, it's Frankie, it's the other guy. And then the boss says, well, take care of your dirty laundry and do it right away. And what's Collada supposed to do at that point? So he becomes a government witness. But it took him overnight to think about it, but he had nowhere to go. The next place is going to get stabbed. His life expectancy about a day. Okay, so that's just one example. So I said, just take each one as an individual. Now, the reason I'm telling you this is because the last podcast I did that came out today, I had to cut it. I had to cut 70% of the good stuff out because my friend, who the podcast is about, asked me to do it because he was scared of repercussions.
Yeah.
And in that story, I tell him it's a story where he got caught in a situation. He was at the wrong place at the wrong time. And FBI raid. They got him and 20 other guys.
Okay.
And he calls me up. He says, Larry, his wife just died of cancer months before. I helped him with everything. I helped him with everything. And he now he gets caught in this pinch. and he calls me up. He says, Larry, they want to give me 25 years. He says, I have 3 little babies at home. I just lost my wife. I have millions of dollars in hospital bills. I have no insurance. I have nothing. And they're looking to kill me. So he says, if I don't become a government informant, they're going to kill me. But if I don't, I'm going to jail for 25 years and I'm going to lose my kids. So he says, I don't know what to do. He says, please help me. And I says, Renee, I want you to go to bed tonight and I want you to think about everything that you just said. And you do whatever you have to do to save them kids. You got 3 little kids in the 4, 7, and something else. Your wife just died. They're going to be given into a foster home and you're going to go into jail for 25 years for something that you didn't do. You think about what you want to do, and whatever your decision is, I'll help you. So he calls me the next day and he says, I can't lose my kids. The jail time don't bother me if I didn't have the kids, but I can't lose my kids. And even though I didn't do nothing, I would still do the time, but because I have nowhere to go. I lost my license. So I says, okay. I says, now listen. I says, you told me that there were 20-something people involved in this thing, and including a few mob guys. Now, I'm going to make believe you never told me that. I don't want to know their names. I don't know who they're with. I don't want to know what position they hold, if they're associates. I don't want to know nothing. All I want to do is help you in any decision that you make. So he says, all right, I'm going to cooperate. Now he cooperates. Now there's 3 cooperators out of the whole crew. And the first one gets killed. Well, they said he died in a fire. He was alone in an apartment. His apartment was the only one that was burnt, and he was dead, burnt to death inside. He was one of the bettors for them. So the paper said that, and I don't know any other thing except what the paper said. He died in a fire.
Yeah.
I think I know what happened with him. Now,
the gas leak.
The next day,
fucking Con Edison again.
The next day they call my friend, and his daughter answers. She's 14 years old and says, hi, this is a friend of your father's. Is he home? No. And he was home, but he was scared to death because he knew the other guy got, So she says, no. And he says, well, when does he leave? What time does he go? And, they're trying to figure out where he's going to leave.
Oh.
And and after 3 days, she says, leave my daddy alone. She calls me up and tells me all of this. I go there and I move him out of the apartment. I move him 4 or 5 towns away. And now I got a problem, because now here's the catch. That's why I want you and Anthony, Tommy, to listen to this podcast that I did. Now, here's what I told them: do whatever you have to do to save the kids, which means I basically turned them into a stool pigeon.
Right.
Oh, God.
Now, how do I fix this? They're looking to kill me.
Should I throw up?
Now, let's say that it was John Gotti's crew, even though he was in jail. I'm just making.
Yeah. Figure speech.
I can't go to Gotti and say, look, one of your guys is looking to kill my guy. John would say, why? Because he's going to rat on your guy. I can't say that. It ain't going to happen.
Yeah, you're going to go with him.
I can't get nobody, and I still don't know the guys. I don't want to know what family they're with, anything, even though I know now, but I didn't know then. I didn't want to know that.
Wow.
So I call up Chicago. I call up Frank. And I tell Frank, I says, I need you down here. He says, is it a situation? I says, yes. He says, send me 3 tickets. He gives me the address. He says, and pick me up with a big car and have whatever tools you need to, to accomplish what you need. So that's what I do. So they come down, and I point the guy's house who had his girlfriend making these threatening phone calls.
I just want to say something. I hate to interrupt. By the way, Tommy, get ready, get comfortable. I'll get comfortable. We're all going to get rounded up in the morning. All right, go ahead, Larry. No, I'm going to be comfortable. If I know they're coming, I'll be comfortable. I'll be all right. I'll go to the bathroom. I'll shower.
So
Tommy,
anyway, so what
I'm
happened
joking. I'm
was,
joking.
to make a long story short, ring the bell, push their way in, put a gun in his mouth, and they says, "We don't want to know who gave the order for what's going on here. I don't want to know. I don't care.
Yeah.
But if one hair is hurt on this guy's head, Renee's head, the head that's going to be blown off is yours. I don't care who gave the order. You're the one we're coming after."
Wow. So
And they
somebody went to
stayed
bat.
there for a couple of weeks and make sure, and everything returned back to normal. A few of them went to jail, and that was God 20, 30 years ago. But I
So
told that podcast, the reason I wanted you to listen to the whole story on the
I will.
podcast
I
was
will.
because I turned an innocent kid into a stool pigeon. But what the hell was I supposed to do? I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how
I
to.
got it. Yeah.
The guy wasn't guilty of anything, that he just got caught at the wrong place at the wrong time. And that's the truth. And they knew it. And they knew he was the weak link. And they hit him with a bullshit 25
Yeah.
years. You don't get it. What am I? So after you listen to the podcast, I want
I'll
both.
get- Yeah, we'll get back to you.
What do you think I did? Because when I now we're going back all the years in 1984, when I didn't give up these four guys and lost millions and millions and millions and disappointed some heavyweight friends that helped me get to that place, I went to two old mob guys. One was Chinky. He was 100 years old. He just got out of jail in Florida.
Tommy's
Yeah.
shaking his head. Tommy's shaking his head.
Yeah, you know him? Chinky?
No.
You know.
Okay. And the other one was Jimmy's
Wow.
father. Both what is
Juicy.
it now?
Juicy
Jimmy
and
was in jail
Chinky.
for 100 years. He was 75 years old. I think he got
Yeah.
out when he was 100. He lived to 103, I think. But anyway, I asked him and Tommy's father, I says, here's the story. Should I have given these
Fine.
guys up, or did I do the right
What'd
thing?
you do, right? What'd they tell
And
you?
the old timers said, you did the right thing. I says, yeah, but I'm broke. I ain't got nothing. I can't do the only thing I did my whole life and that I loved and that I want to do. And my reputation is completely shot, even though a miracle happens and I get my license back.
Yeah.
And I got nothing. And I'll never I'll die having nothing when I gave up millions and millions of dollars. Don't worry, kid, you did the right thing. Now, I asked two guys in their 40s.
That different
Mob
regime.
guys,
Different.
heavyweight guys.
Yeah. Right.
The
Younger
young guy
generation, though.
The young guy says I should have gave him up.
Right. Give them up.
How do you figure that?
Well,
Has that situation diluted to the point where now the rules mean nothing? It's just,
can I say, Larry, you're asking, you know, I'm big, Tommy. I'm big on saying I don't like to sit on the fence with anything. And Larry, I love you. You know that. You know that. And you're the one that tells me, Craig, let loose, be you. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe because not my father's generation, not my grandfather, the younger generation. And I'm not, listen, I'm not provoking violence, but what I'm saying, you asked the question, so I'm going to give an honest answer. My thinking would have been back then. Not only does he have to go, you're going to go with him for giving him that advice.
Okay.
Yeah, naturally, of course.
And thank God none of that happened. I love you, but that's the younger generation's thinking, because maybe it's because there was always something to prove, and I like to be I like to smooth things out, but I just know that that way was embedded. That way of thinking was much quicker. Get rid of both. Gotta go. I'm just being honest on probably what the thinking would have been.
You mean the younger generation or the older generation?
The younger generation would have been more quick to, I think, even though, you know, a lot of the so-called, crazy guys came from the older generation that we learned from or around.
Wow.
Today's generation, and I'm talking about my age group, the 50s, the late 40s. Like Larry said, he talked to 40 guys in their 40s that said, and they were heavyweights that said, you know, he's the rat, no bad move. And the older guys that did 100 years told them, no, you did the right thing. I just think knowing that mentality, especially I was around that group, that crazy 40-year-old group, 50-year-old group. I don't know if it was something to prove. They were just more quick to violence. It's just everybody. I'm talking to everybody.
You got me confused.
Well, let me just say this.
Yeah, I don't want to confuse you, Tommy.
Hold on, Larry. 1 second.
Okay.
You mean 50s generation would have clipped everybody?
I'm saying a little younger. Yeah, the younger. Like
thinking
younger than us.
guys would have just cleaned the house out, not the young guys.
I believe, yeah. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just the group I was around.
Now wait a minute. When we say young, now we got generation gaps going on.
Yes,
right here.
yes.
So when you say young, what age group do you mean? Now, okay, I'm 55. I'll be 55. So
we're the same age. I'm 56.
But I have an old man's mentality, an old school type of mentality.
I'd like to think I do.
My thinking is going backwards. That anybody that said anything is getting clipped.
They got to go,
including Larry.
They got to go. Yes.
But you're saying the younger, the 40-year-olds would
I think they would have been, yes, I think they would have been quicker to make that decision without even having a meeting on it, without wanting to get everybody's opinion. No. Fucking they go. Like maybe where the old timers would have said, let's sit down and discuss it. That's what I mean.
They might have thought that.
Yes.
But those guys are not executing a plan like that today. They're not dropping bodies today.
No. Absolutely. I agree.
And which is a smart move, which is a great move.
Absolutely. Cameras everywhere. I'm just, I didn't mean to confuse it.
Let me give you my answer because
not saying I would have did that.
I skim right through these stories without giving much details.
Yeah, no, I love it. I
as everybody knows that knows me, aside from being in a hospice my whole life,
you're around everybody
every night of my life to a Marlboro nightclub. Plus, I grew up with them. Plus. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I knew when he decided that he couldn't lose his kids, I agreed with him.
Yeah.
And I also knew that if what you're suggesting was ever to come, I had two places to go.
You are an orphan.
This is the story.
Yeah.
This is the story. Now, you could drop me right here. But if you're going to tell me that I did the wrong thing by telling this kid to save his children.
Right. I know what you're saying.
20 fucking scumbags.
Yeah, I agree.
1 or 2
I understand what you're saying. I'm just saying what the street says.
That was my ace in the hole if it ever came to that.
Yeah, you're not an orphan.
I found out later that the 2 mob guys were they were 3. They were basically associates, low average guys, gamblers, just trying to rob everybody and everything else. And I probably could have got away with it. But I'll tell you, if I didn't have an ace in the hole, 2 aces in the hole where I could have went, had I found out that there was going to be a kickback, I would have did it anyway.
Yeah, I got you because that's you. You were strong in your conviction, and that was that.
In the rat category?
Never. No. You asked my opinion. I gave it. I know who you are. I know who I'm talking to. That's not what I'm saying.
It just goes back to that life and having families. That life and having kids does not
right.
Work.
That set of standard that they go by.
Because a solid guy gets into a predicament like that.
It could happen to anybody. Yes.
But
absolutely.
Crazy. So back to your point, Larry, about all these guys doing all their shows about rats, or their shows about rats, or their shows about rats. Unfortunately, that's all going to go away. They're not going to have content once they finish. Like you said, leave it to Joey Merlino to do it. Let him do it. He's doing a great job at it. Let him do it.
Yeah.
Nice and slow and steady. And it'll get done right. A smooth way, a nice way. But these guys are making shows off of this. Now, these guys that are doing these shows do not realize that they built up a nice talent for themselves, but they're getting themselves stuck in a rut by being a rat smasher. Not saying it's not okay to do it, and they can do everything that they want to do.
Yeah,
I think in my humble opinion, the informants win shows. That's all going to go away. It's getting boring.
You think so?
Nobody wants to hear them anymore. They're done. And the rat smashers, so to speak, it's just going to start to get stale. Because now, as I say, the varsity team has arrived, which is Joey Merlino and company. They're doing it. The people are looking forward to that show. not the shows with 5, 10, 15,000 subscribers. They're going
Absolutely.
over there now. So
Larry, it's like we talked about months ago that, not staying in one genre because eventually you run out of stories to tell.
but
Well,
Larry has
what-
stories for a lifetime.
What Tommy just said is exactly what I told Stax. That
Yep.
after you expose the rat, where do you go?
That-
You got
exactly.
nowhere to go. You already
Right.
exposed that they're talking about this and that,
Yeah.
and then it ends. So
That's
you get
right.
2 or 3 podcasts out of exposing a couple of guys,
I know what you're
and
saying.
that's it. And 1 or 2 of the guys now won't even return your call that you considered friends before. But now that you went that route,
Yeah.
just leave it to Molino. He knows what he's doing.
Let
He'll handle
Joey,
it.
let Joey put them to rest. I get what you, and I mean that in a good way.
So let me explain something to you guys real quick, both of you.
Go, Tommy.
2 years ago, I found this YouTube thing. I had no idea how to use this stuff. I found this through Angel Gotti, John Gotti's daughter, who has a podcast. And I found it through her because I guess YouTube algorithm picks up that I'm interested in mob talk or whatever it might be, right? So I found it through there. And 2 years ago, and my paisan who's on here, Thindu, we do a show together pretty much every day.
Good
Me
people.
and Thindu is my main man up here. We do a show basically every day.
Yeah.
2 years ago, we said, where are we going with this? And I said, you know what? I got to go variety. I'm not getting stuck in that mess. I'm not putting the energy into it. It's going to get stale. And 2 years later, I was correct. I kept my show as general variety. Now I got gentlemen like you guys on. I got all different walks of life coming on. I got a shot to get Tommy DeVito up here, the quarterback for the Giants. I
That's
got
awesome.
a shot to get him up here. And his first youth coach from Cedar Grove. This is all happening because I chose to go in a different direction, use my personality, a microphone, and a camera, and see what I can do with this. And I got 2 great gentlemen up here right now.
Thank you.
And more things to come.
Larry's the best. Larry's the man. Tommy, do you mind? I got to know. You got one of your crazy gold members. Tommy is texting me. He wants me to ask Larry a question. Is it all good?
That's what we're doing here.
Larry, remember how small world it was when you said you knew a family member of mine? Jojo Aquilino. Well, I got another one of those types, and you knew him. I got another question for you. It comes from somebody. They want to know if you remember from Jackson Heights. They called him Bob the Jew from OTB. Bob the Jew from OTB back in the day from Jackson Heights. That's all I got. Question. That's the only question.
No, I don't, because I left Jackson Heights when I was maybe 17, 18 years old.
All right. I'll come.
Anything,
Well, he's listening now. I'll tell him. He is.
when I left Jackson Heights, it was 20
No
years
disrespect.
before OTB even opened. So
No disrespect to any Jewish people out there. I'm a Guinea.
what?
I'm Italian. You call me
do
what you want.
Jerry the Jew. Jerry the
What?
Jew from my neighborhood.
Jerry the Jew. There you go.
Jerry the Jew ran with
Was
Nicky
he?
Skins, and they were taking bodies left and right. And Jerry the Jew ended up doing Scared Straight at Rawway.
Did he? I remember Rawway. Oof. When we were kids, my father made us watch it. Yeah.
And I'm dear friends with his daughter. She gave me that Sinatra picture. I
Wow.
was down on my luck. I moved in this apartment. I was down on my luck really, really, really bad. My wife said, that's it. I'm not in love with you anymore. You're out. I end up in this apartment with a mattress on the floor and basically nothing else, a bottle of water. And Jerry the Jew's daughter came to my door and brought me that picture right there.
That's awesome.
They knew how much I love Sinatra, grew up around it. And that is Jerry the Jew's daughter, who was Nicky Skin Stefanelli's best friend from when they were children. So there's all these little stories that we all have,
Stefanelli's bar was the bar that Bert cracked the guy over the head.
Yeah.
So you think I'm funny.
Yeah. I'll tell you, you Jersey guys, you got some good stories.
Yeah, too bad Jimmy wasn't here, because Jimmy.
I know. Jimmy's texting. Jimmy keeps texting me too. I can't wait to come on.
I left. I was going all around the country since I was 18 years old.
Well, Larry, you love fast cars, music, and women, right?
Fast cars, racing horses, racing cars, and women. That was it.
That was your thing.
Yeah.
Guys, check it out. This doesn't have to be a one-time deal, Larry.
Yeah, man.
This is the social club. The door is open. You guys hit me up and say, let's do a show. And we schedule a show. We come on and we shoot the shit like this. But Larry, I got a couple of questions for you.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah.
The worst, most dangerous bookmaker that you ever did business with. Who would it be?
It had to be Kabert. Well, before him, it was Little Sammy, but then Little Sammy got
Okay,
arrested
hold on.
for murder. And
Let me pause you 1 minute.
okay.
Little Sammy and Bobby Kabert changed my life forever. Little Sammy died on July 5th, 19. Oh, wow, what year
Well,
was
he
that?
died in jail.
No, oh, Little Sammy Casero? No, he was
Yeah.
home.
When he
Home.
died, he was home.
Yeah, in Clifton, right here.
Okay.
Clifton. He died. They actually said, never mind. There's the whole story behind it. I'm not going to get into it. But so Little Sammy was a gentleman to me, helped me out greatly. Little Sammy and Kabert, they got me to do construction at nighttime when I didn't have 10 cents in my pocket. They put me on a job at nighttime and they changed my life. There's now I do a little construction on the side because of them. Little Sammy was a gentleman. So Kabert, Sammy, Buddy, Sonny, Jamesy, all of that whole crew. So that was a solid, crazy crew. So you would say Kabert was probably the most dangerous you ever come across?
Well, only because I found out later. To me, he was, after we made that deal. You see what happened real quick is that when I left Lincoln Downs and went to Freehold, I called up a friend of mine, and I says, listen, I'm coming back to New York because I was traveling all around the country at all these Mickey Mouse racetracks. And when they finally gave me stalls at Freehold in I think 1970 it was, I can't remember, 70, 71, I says to, I think it was maybe 69, 70, one of them years, I come from Lincoln Downs to Freehold. I call a friend of mine and I says, listen, get to the racetrack, get as much money as you could and bet it on my two horses. They'll both win. And he says, you sure? Which one you like better? I says, both of them will win. So he says, I'm going to have to go borrow them. I says, borrow whatever you have to borrow. Just bet on them. They'll win. So sure enough, in fact, I have the photographs. Both horses win by 10 lengths. Now I leave the grandstand. I leave the paddock. I go into the grandstand, and he introduces me to Sammy and Kabert. This is the guys I borrowed the money from. Now, that's the first time I ever met him. I didn't know him before. But then they says, anything you need, if you want anything, naturally, the whole world is looking for an edge. They feel they have an edge. Now, they're going to treat me like gold. And they treated me like gold until I lost over $1 million to them. And then right from the very beginning, Sammy went to jail for murdering, I think, a holdup or something. He went to jail. Yeah. And then I was dealing with somebody else, but Kabert was the guy. Yeah. And then I was like a cash cow. And then after $1 million was lost, but I paid every Tuesday. So my credit was excellent. And but during this time, I was finding out, like my friends, what are you doing with this guy? He's crazy. He killed 50 guys. He killed this. He killed that. He killed that. So when I went broke, I was addicted. The addiction was bad. I was making money fixing races. If I make a $500,000 fixing races in 6 months, I lose $500,000 betting sports. Mm. So when I went broke, but I paid every Tuesday, my credit was perfect. But I had an addiction. And the Super Bowl is coming and everything. I was going nuts. I says, I'll get even. And all my cash is gone. So I meet Kabert and I says, listen, I'm going to Florida for a couple of weeks. They thought I was a money bag and fixing all the races, which I was, but I was losing it to him and Barney Cutler up in Monticello, the old Meyer Lansky bookmaker.
Wow.
So what happened was, he says, no problem. He says, call me up. I'll give you the line, whatever. I says, yeah, but I won't be back for 2 or 3 weeks. I won't be able to pay you if I lose. Don't worry about it. We'll straighten up when you get home. Well, I went there. First week, 80,000. Next week, a couple of hundred. By the time the third week come, I almost ate 800,000. Now I come back. He sends a guy to pick me up at the airport. He says, you want to go home first? Get work because he's waiting for us. And Bobby. I said, I got no money. Yeah, I got no money. So he says, you got no money. He calls up. And Kabert tells him, tell him to come down here, Atlantic Highlands. He had a little place there down the street.
Oh my God.
And
I know it.
so we go the next morning. He don't say a fucking word. He's sitting back with the two guys and drinking. So they
Dum,
just
dum,
like
dum.
they walk me out to the fucking deck. They take me out in the boat all the way out. They bring me up from downstairs upstairs. They put me in this little fucking bucket. And I didn't think he was gonna kill me, even though I heard through the months that he was a madman. And
Definitely.
one of his own men, I don't want to mention his name because he's a good friend and I'm probably going to see him later. He had a bar right across the street from the Meadowlands, right behind Paredes.
Oh yeah.
And he went
Fucking
in.
Stig, my man Stigs.
He shot up the place one day. I mean, his own guy. I mean,
Yeah.
like he was. But I didn't think he. It's different if I borrow 20,000 from you and I don't pay it and I'm ducking and you're going to give me a beating, or maybe 50 years ago, if you were in big action, you just killed me and leave me in the street as a lesson.
Yeah.
But I lost a bet. You got $1 million of my money.
Paper.
Not that you gave me any money. I just lost the bet. And
Monopoly.
I'm in big action because I paid every week. So when he says, this guy made you go too far, that's on him. You went too far, and that's on you. Now you tell me why I shouldn't let this cement harden and throw you the fuck overboard. And the answer was simple. I could pay. You
Oh my
could pay.
God.
Yeah, I could pay. You got $1 million of my money. I paid every Tuesday. Every Tuesday. I took a shot. You took a shot at me. You could pay. Yep. Okay. I'll make a Shylock loan. So I only owed him $380,000, $400,000. I owed the other half to Barney Cutler. So he says every week, 2 points. You come here every week and you see him 7,200 every week. You miss 1 week and you'll be right back here. So was he the scariest guy? Yeah. Well, I knew 1 or 2 other guys, not that I was involved, that was scary. But in this situation, when you got $1 million of a guy's money and you didn't take the money, you just blew a bet, and the guy's in big action and he can pay, he got to be a moron. And he wasn't a moron. And he knew. And I got news for you. 3 years later, I paid him 3 times more than what I owed him. And then I got a little lucky and I wound up paying him the $380 in one lump sum.
Tommy, Larry.
Yeah.
I don't mean to interrupt. It's an amazing story. Unbelievable how you came out of that. Tommy, maybe you're the host. Maybe you could explain. Maybe there's some people watching that don't understand what it means to take a shot at somebody. To take a shot. Maybe you want to explain it to somebody.
Yeah. So I was on that side. I was a
right. That's why
I booked years ago, and I did Shy years ago. Look, taking a shot. Here's the thing from a bookmaker's perspective. Taking a shot into an office is one thing. Okay, I get that. And Larry, you're right. There's no money lost in that.
Monopoly money.
It's a phone call. The guy in the Bronx is taking the bet, and you lose 20,000. I'm using a fake number, 20,000 to me. There's Monopoly. No money really lost there.
No transaction.
By the office, right? The problem is when you win 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, and now you come in heavy, and then you can't pay it. That's where the problem comes in. You got me in the red. Now, if we were even green, we were close to green, even, I understand. The guy's got an addiction. We want the money. The first thing I would do, Larry, is do what he did. I would turn it into a Shy. I would turn it into a loan.
Make a juice loan.
Taking a shot. I don't know. Larry, do degenerate gamblers, I hate to use that word, typically take a shot, or is that a business mentality, taking a shot?
No, let me tell you, because I'm a very, very strong-willed person. I can adjust to any situation instantly. And my whole life when I was a kid, I could never understand how somebody couldn't stop smoking or somebody couldn't stop drugs. I could never understand that. But I learned that addiction if it's a drug addiction or alcohol addiction, they are chemical addictions, and there's treatments for that, and you can get over that. A gambling addiction is not a chemical addiction; it's a mental addiction, and there is no cure for that. And they tell you all the time, call 1-800-GAMBLER if you have a problem. 100% of them, even the ones that go, never stop. It's a terrible, and all the suicides of all the addictions is for gamblers. And they not only lose everything, but they destroy everything. And most of them wind up because they just, it's a constant chasing the money, because you can never win.
Excuse me, I got to break in. I got breaking news here from Jimmy D. He texts me, Larry. He wants you and the crowd to know, Tommy. And he said the next time, obviously we'll do a beautiful show. He said to put it out there to you, Tommy. Larry, you probably already know it. He wanted me to know that the gentleman you mentioned before, Sammy.
Yeah.
Sammy proposed Jimmy for membership.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't know that. That was news to me. He wanted you to know you were telling a story about Sammy. That's all.
Sammy was good people.
Kabert was put in the position he was put in because later on in years, when Gotti became the boss, Gotti made him a captain, and he just Jimmy's father, Juicy, could have been there. He just made Kabert go there.
Yeah.
So
unfortunately. See, now we used to take shots at, I'm going to say it the way it is. We were told, honestly, take shots at different bookmakers, take shots, because we want to see if anybody's behind them. So if nobody's behind them, now we know we own them.
That's a great point.
Right? So you take a shot at somebody, you don't, you collect, all of a sudden you're not paying them 10 grand, whatever the number is, you're not paying, and nobody's coming out of the woodwork saying, I want my effing money. You know what? Now we're going to see you every week for whatever the number is that we're going to see you for. And the same thing went on with restaurants. We break the restaurant up just to break it up, see if somebody comes out.
A greedy guy would take all that action without question. A greedy guy would take all that. Nobody's getting a shot in on me.
Right.
Remember, guys, I never bet $1 in my life.
Yeah, you aren't a gambler.
Business. So I was suspect of everybody that came my way. They weren't going to get that shot in on me. There could have been somebody that may have, but I didn't have a weakness. See?
Right.
Now, I knew guys that were bookmakers. They had a weakness because they were also degenerate gamblers. So they had to take whatever they could get. Those are the weak ones that you could take a shot on. The bright guys typically don't get a shot taken on them.
Yeah.
Typically, it can happen because as smart as that bright guy is, there's a street hustler that can get over on him. We know this as fact.
Absolutely.
But so my other question, one more question, Larry. I got a question for you. I'm the bookmaker. You're the gambler. You're losing. Some people are in distress. They don't know where they're going to get that next dollar from. They're cashing in a pension check. They're giving me the mortgage. Was I ever in danger as a bookmaker with a debtor coming to pay me? Or what goes through the mind of that guy that can't pay me that week? Is he thinking, I got to hurt this guy? I got to take this guy? What goes through the mind of that guy that is in dire straits at that moment and he owes me $100,000? Was I ever in danger?
You're asking me that question?
Yeah.
It's hard for me to answer that question because I wasn't in that life. My situation was my situation, and I never, ever beat anybody out of a quarter in my life. Never, ever. Like I said before, I adjust to any situations, and I did whatever I had to do to pay, and that's exactly what I did. So I can't answer that question for other people. I can only answer it to me. That if I took a shot at you and I lost, but I would never do, and I understand what you said before. You collect, and you send it in, and then all of a sudden you lose. And that's a terrible, I would never, ever in a million years do that. The only reason I took a shot was because I lost, I never won. And when I was in Vegas, when I took over the sports book at all the Sun Cruise ships in Florida from from Gus, that Greek kid. I was dealing with the three odds makers from Vegas. And when I flew out there to meet with them, because I had a ticket tape and everything all around the front of the boat where I had the sports book, I asked them, and they said, historically, if you just took action on football every year, you'd become a very, very wealthy guy. Added all the season games and everything else, that the players out of 16, 17 weeks that they play, the player wins statistically 3 times. So you got no shot, and they don't know why. Maybe it's the shape of the ball, but they don't know why. So I knowing all of that and everything, I would never do what you suggested. And I don't think, and I know 2 of them I could mention, and a bunch of them are dead, that got into 1/100th of the problems that I got into money wise. They ran away. And today I still have no idea if they're alive or dead. One guy, a good friend of mine, he got lucky. He ran away. We owed a guy, Tony Karubi from New York, a bunch of money. And every week I would show up, whether I had the money or not. I'd show up every fucking week. Tony, I don't have it. I'll double up next week. I don't have it. I double up next week. And he and Jerry never would show up. He just wouldn't show up. And he kept saying, he said, tell this, I'm going to. And one day he went to his house and he had a 5-year-old kid. He hung him out the window, 7 stories high. And the next day, Jerry moved to California, and he promised me not to say nothing. And he come back 12 years later, and everybody he owed was dead. And he come back in real good shape, because while he was out there, he met the guy or the woman, I think, who invented the ballpoint pen or something like that. Anyway, become a very wealthy guy. And his story is in my book, not about that, about something else.
Wow.
In the book I wrote, because I called him up. I said, Jerry, they told me put some funny stories in here. Can I tell him a story of what happened? Well,
Yeah.
He owed Tony Karubi $100,000, and he needed $100,000 because of that situation. And then he moved, and I told him how to get the $100,000. That story's in my book. Wow. Jerry Silverman, and that's a good story. But to answer your question, I would never do that. I don't know. I guess you get these lunatics, these outlaws, these crazy guys. But
yeah.
Why would you want to? Probably 99 9/10 of the bookmakers, a mob. They're part of the mob, and it's not one guy you're killing. You got to kill 300 guys. Why would you do that? And how, I don't see how anybody would do that. So I would have to say, unless you get a real whack job, that I don't think you're in jeopardy. But
right.
And I think you're smart enough to know who to deal with. But back then, back in the day, there were a lot of guys. And then as the years went on, they kind of eliminated themselves, because the bust outs wind up disappearing from the scene, or word got around not to take this guy's action anymore. So, but that question I could never answer, because I'm sure that there's a whack job out there that would probably try to bust into place. And that's another. How do you bust into place where you got 50? Well, that's probably before the cameras. Nowadays,
before cameras. Yep.
It's
all changed. Everything has changed now.
Yeah.
You can't take down scores. There's shit that you can't do to anything today. You can't do anything today. And the way things are today, plus circumstantial evidence, you can't do anything.
Fat Tony Federici, Tough Tony. When we were kids, there was a camera on the little clubhouse they had right across the street, right next to the lemon ice place. There was a camera there from way, way back. They knew it was there. And with that camera and all, Tony still with the camera and all.
Didn't care. Oh my God, it's crazy.
He was
smart
guy, Tony.
The good times of that life have has obviously have gone away.
Oh
You know,
yeah,
the
they-
stories. Listen, I'm 55. I'm probably the end of any old type of stories. I think the 40s guys, 40-year-old guys, they're not going to have these types of stories. I don't think anyway.
Nah,
I don't know. It's
no.
well,
okay.
what I'm doing, the only reason I have a podcast is because Frankie Vincent, we started it
Yeah.
during the COVID thing. And before we could even get to first base, everything got shut down. We stopped it, then we restarted it. Then Frankie died, and then Frankie asked me to start it up again. I got Jimmy as a sidekick because I didn't never know how I would react on the camera. I never did this before.
You're a
Uh,
natural.
and but once this podcast, now tomorrow morning at 3:00, I got a Zoom call with California, and once they start my thing, if that gets picked up by Netflix or one of them, because it's going to be a TV series,
Uh-huh.
that's the end of the podcast thing.
Yeah.
Even though I got a million more stories, and every time I look at my pictures, I must have 1,000 pictures in my phone.
Stories.
I think of another. I think of another story. I'm just looking through the pictures, looking for pictures of Renee, and I saw Brother Moscata, and I says, Jesus Christ! I says I should tell this story. So I call up his son, which I put his son with Sony Pictures and everything else, and they're supposed to be doing something now, but
I'm gonna lose you, Tommy.
All right.
I don't mean to. No, I don't want to ever cut you off. My battery's dead.
All right. We're gonna end it shortly. Go ahead.
Larry, Tommy, I love you guys. Go.
Right. We'll talk to you later.
All right,
Yep.
Larry, I'll talk to you, brother. I love you, man.
Okay.
All right.
Larry. All right. So Larry, anytime you want to go through those pictures and sit down with me, we'll do a marathon. We'll make those stories quick, right to it, and you got them in your library. You don't want to let these stories go. These are forever.
Every time I go through a picture, I just looked. In the podcast that's coming out next week. There's two coming out. One about Brother Moscata and Hoffa, and that he told me directly, and his son knows for sure. And so I'm going to talk about that.
Okay.
And then the next one is about Alan Jerkins, the thoroughbred trainer, a whole, and Mike McCarthy, the leading jockey at Delaware. A whole story about them. But every time whenever I when my friend comes that films all of this stuff for me and edits it, he says, "What are you going to talk about today?" And I just go through because nothing is rehearsed. Nothing. I come down here, I look, and I says, "Oh, let me talk about this and this and this and this," and it just comes out. I make a lot of mistakes with the times and the dates because like a guy called me up because I said 1964. It was daytime racing, and it was how the hell am I supposed to remember what happened? So I make stupid mistakes like that I didn't know if it was a daytime day or if Sunday racing was in the day or the night in 1964. It was 60 years ago. How am I supposed to remember?
How are you going to remember every single detail?
You get these fact checkers on everything, and
the fact checker.
I admit I make a lot of mistakes. I says, look, I'm old. I don't see good. I forget and I dribble.
Oh my God.
That's me.
You are great. Oh, this is great.
Anyway, anytime you want to have lunch or something, like you said, we're probably miles apart. And we can meet even for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or anytime you want.
Absolutely.
And we'll talk some more. So you just let me know. Too bad he lives so far away because with the traffic today, getting from Flushing to here, it's tough. It's tough. It's murder. But me and you could probably walk to each other's house from here.
We're both off the same highway. We're off the same highway. It's literally 10 minutes.
Yeah.
We're that close.
Yeah.
So we'll do more of these. We'll do more of these. Anytime, if you're interested, we'll do more of these. We'll pop on a little bit here and there. We'll pick a topic for that show, basically, and go over it. What I would like to do is add to your podcast release. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
You know what I mean? To get the traction to those podcast shows. We'll talk about it offline, but you got something special there. You know, you got great stuff there. You thought you wouldn't be. You were a little
Well, you know, the
hesitant
only
about
thing I
camera.
don't understand, I don't understand how I think I got 1,600 subscribers, and
Yeah.
I don't even know how to. I wouldn't know how to do any of that stuff. But it like kind of hangs right there, which means I don't know what it means, and I don't know how to get it more, and I don't really try because. But my friend Alfred always says, "How come you get one new subscriber every month?" I don't know. I don't look. I don't know how to look,
Okay.
and I'm more interested. And I'm probably gonna. And I know I'm gonna end it as soon as the TV star, if we get uh,
Well,
picked up. But
I'm
I
gonna help you. I'm gonna help you a little bit. Okay. I will help you a little bit. We'll get a little traction. I know some of the moves, so I'll help you. No doubt, no doubt.
all right.
I'll help you until you're ready to be done with it. We'll do it.
Okay.
We'll make,
All right. Great.
we'll,
And
we'll make
like I said, you have my phone number, don't you?
Yeah, got it from Craig.
Okay,
So
you got my phone
yeah,
number. Just call me the day before, anytime you want to have breakfast, lunch, or
yeah,
dinner. And if you don't drive, I'll pick you up. I
I
mean,
drive.
look, and we can
We're
go to
good.
any restaurant or any diner that you want and sit and
Wonderful.
bullshit and talk. And that's it. I really was hoping because you and Jimmy would get along great.
From
Jimmy,
the same.
even though you don't say too much, but I could
Yeah.
see by your face every time I mention a certain name, you smile, which means you probably know more about the situation than me. Because in reality, I'm a horse trainer. I fall into all of this shit. You probably lived it. There's a big difference between what I know in that life and what you know. So, but Jimmy knows.
I
Jimmy,
know.
you and him would have great.
Yes.
In fact, if you do call and you do want to have breakfast or lunch would be better for Jimmy because at night he
Okay.
has to be home. But I'll bring Jimmy because Jimmy lives
All right.
right by the hospital there.
All
I'll go
right.
pick him up and meet you, and then you
Yeah.
can talk. So we could talk because you and him will have a lot in common.
We will have a lot in common. I'm humble about this, and sometimes this crowd they pull it out of me, and they'll get a story out of me or a situation out of me. I'm kind of humble about it. I don't know. I get you could pick it up. You have that.
Yeah, I got it. I
Yeah,
got it.
yeah,
I
yeah.
got it.
You
I
know it.
got it.
As soon as you mentioned such and such, you saw my expression.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
got
yeah.
that.
I see the expressions, and I know, and that's why and plus I can't get myself in trouble because I only know a certain amount. I only know what I know, which is not enough to get anybody in trouble. I probably shouldn't be dropping a lot of names, but they're my friends, and they know. Like I yes, is it okay if I do this and this and this and this? And yeah, 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 because most of them everything is way down low now anyway. So
Look,
uh,
you're not hurting anybody with the stories. You're not speaking in a malicious type of way. You're using names because they were there, and most of it is public stuff. It's
and
not
probably now every day a different guy dies.
every day.
The
Every
people I
day.
know they're all dead. I
Every
mean,
day.
of all the guys that well, say here's the problem. All the guys, Dominic Sicali and all of them guys, they're 20. I had Larry Mazur on my show. He's 20, 25 years younger than me. So I was out of everything by the time these guys were involved. I have nothing in common with them. In fact, when Larry Mazur came on my podcast, uh, I says to him, I says, I got to ask you a question. I says, how you're a smart guy, and I know you put away 80 guys. I know the whole story. I don't want to get into that. I don't have you on here to embarrass you. I says, but how did you sharp guy? Wasn't there a time when you says, what the hell am I doing here? What the hell does that mean? If my mother's dying and you call me, I gotta leave. What he says, Larry, he says it creeps up on you with him. It
Yeah.
crept up on me so slow, and before you knew it, I was there and I played the part. And you know, because I just don't understand how so. And you know, another thing I don't understand, and Larry Maz is the only one I would ask that question to. The other thing I don't understand is like Dominic says it all the time. I'm this, but I'm my own man. You know, I ratted, I turned against my best friend, but I'm my own man. Well, I feel I'm my own man, and the reason I lost everything 2 times in my life, and the reason I made the switch from Corona to the other way was because I feel I'm my own man. I could never follow somebody. I stopped going to the corner because if somebody else robbed the car, I didn't want to get in the car because maybe I didn't want to go where they were going, but I had to go because they were the ones that robbed. I did everything myself from that point on at a very young age. And
Wow.
I can't understand how these guys could call them. I shouldn't even say that because it sounds terrible, but how could a man like Sammy Gravano says it all the time, and he holds the umbrella for Gotti and this and that. How could you do that? How could you turn yourself into a mutt because of an oath? And I understand that once you take that oath, you got to do this and this. But how do you get yourself to take the oath when you know the oath is going to put you into a life where you become basically a mutt? You got to follow the leader. You got to do whatever they tell you to do. I
But
could never understand that.
but but if you know it going into it, you got to take it. If it's carrying the umbrella or taking jail time, it goes with it. Now, I will listen. I'm no fan of any rat. I will tell you, Larry. I guess he said this to you. It does creep up on you. You find yourself involved in things very quickly. Luckily, I got pinched at the right time in my life, and I didn't have, I got pinched, and that was it. I made a decision at that time to turn my life around, and I did what I had to do, and I came out, and my head is up, and they helped me out. Like I said, little Sammy put me to work, Bobby Cabert, they put me to work, right, in a legitimate way, but they gave me the opportunity to live a legitimate life instead of that because the way I conducted myself. But I will tell you, yes, those steps moving up, they creep up quick, quick. They're quicker than the calendar, Larry. Those steps go quicker than the calendar, just as fast as the clock. Before you know it, you're running football slips, then you're doing this, then you do. Before you know it, you're a full-blown bookmaker with 100 guys under you, and now you have a business. What comes next? They see you're an earner. They want you. Somebody, you're on, and that's how it all goes. So yeah, he's right when he says it goes like that. It's quicker than the calendar, as fast as the clock, and before you know it, you're like, holy shit, I'm doing shit that's going to get me 20 years. But we don't think we're doing anything illegal. It just comes so natural from this end. It just comes so natural and part of your everyday life. You don't even think you're doing things that are illegal. And then boom, all of a sudden, you know it, you're facing 20 years.
Great
Just like that.
explanation. Great explanation. I see, because I never had to think about any of that stuff because I was never going to get involved. I just love racing cars and racing horses. And once I got over my addiction, thanks to Gabert, I never had to worry about any of that stuff. I just had a meeting today, and it just ended. It only ended because I knew I had to come down here at 7:00, but with a girl. And I hate to do business with a girl because, with a guy, you could sit there and you could use language that you wouldn't use with a girl, and you could challenge him, and goes back and forth in a friendly, business-like way. With a girl, you don't know what to say. And all of a sudden, I show her how she could make. There's an opportunity, a chance for something I created to make millions of dollars right away, but she don't want to use the word scumbag. So I said to her, I says, look, the people that we're dealing with, they're not grown people, they're kids. If you ever go to a kid, 15, 16, that's just the way they talk. I says, plus, out of the 3 words that we're going to use, asshole, jerk off, and scumbag, scumbag is the only one that you hate, but it's the only one that they're allowed to talk say on television. You can use scumbag on television. You can't use asshole or jerk off. And that's the word you want to eliminate.
Oh
So
my
I says,
God.
look, it ain't going to happen. She says, well, I'm offended by that word. I says, well, good.
Oh,
Get in your car and go back to where you're going to go and get
yeah.
offended. But that word is staying. I just can't I can't
No,
deal
no.
with
Because the authenticity gets lost when you don't use the proper. That word is coming natural for the story, for the situation.
right.
When you take that out, the naturalness of it goes away.
Exactly. And you're
Let
not
me,
dealing with 65-year-old women or men, or
I
you're
know.
dealing
And
with kids that are between 16 and 22, 23. And
even the adults, they're not going to be offended by it. Come on. You know what I mean? That's ludicrous. So let me say this now. Okay. We're 30 years apart from each other. You just learned something from me about my aspect of that.
yeah, because I never think about it. I never. That's
Wow.
why I asked that question,
Wow.
because I never asked anybody that question before. How could you
That is
do?
wow.
How could? But the explanation you gave, the way you see, I was thinking more like you're on a street corner and you follow the crowd, and you like the girls and the diamond rings and the
Wow.
fancy cars, and then you
Nope.
want to do, and then you're following the leader. But what you said, I never heard before, that you started your own little bookmaking operation. And before you know it, you grow, and then you get a tap on your shoulder. And then you
Yes.
have to get involved or close down. And you get involved because you like the money, you got a mansion, and nobody ever explained it to me like that. So now
Okay.
I know, and I probably will never ask that question again,
Wow.
except that 90% of the guys that are in there didn't start their own little bookmaking business. They started by following the leader and wanted to be more than what they are for whatever
Wow.
reason. And
Wow. I'm honored that I was able to teach you something 30 years
well,
apart.
it's true. It's true. I never thought of it like that. But that's very. When I started the sports book on Sun Cruise, I got a tap on the shoulder.
Yeah.
And when they found out that Robbie, oh God, what the hell's his name? The guy that owned the Miami Dolphins, his son used to bet with me 20, 30,000 a game. And we were doing good. And then I put an ad in the Chinese newspaper because I knew all Chinese loved to gamble. And so we get them to the boat, and then they would bet the sports and everything. And as they were coming in during the football season, I would give each one of them a football ticket. And I mean, if you collected 5,000 a night from football tickets, you could spend the money because nobody ever wins with that. But I got a guy that come on one night and says, we like this operation, and I think we're going to be your partner. And I says, okay. I says, no problem. I says, when can we meet? Tomorrow afternoon, and we can talk about this because I want to talk to my partner. And they says, well, who's your partner? I says, well, he's from the West Side. I says, you'll find out tomorrow. And as soon as I said that, the guy never showed up. So if you have an ace in the hole, which I had an ace in the hole, if you have an ace in the hole, you could talk up a little bit. But the problem is, like when I had the oh geez, sometimes when you have the ace in a hole and you use it, instead of having the partner who come to shake you down, you got another partner who's your ace in the hole.
You're
So
playing a little bit there. It's a little
yeah,
funny.
it all works out, but it's better to have a friendly partner than the guy that thinks he can take more and more and more and
Yeah.
more.
Because they're
And
bottom feeders. So, okay, one more thing before we go.
go ahead.
So Bobby Gabert changed your life and
Yeah.
my life, and we are 30 years apart. I'm going to say it again. How is that? That is crazy.
Well, I
You
just
come,
want to say one more thing.
you
Tommy
come.
Lucchese changed my life first.
Okay,
I was the
first.
worst kid in the world until my mother took me from the tombs, from the courthouse, right up to his office. He changed my life when I was 18 years old. And he got me in his office and he said simple words. He says, because my mother ran all his dress factories back then.
Wow. Okay.
And he says to me one thing, and I was a bad kid. The only thing my mother ever failed was me, and I
Oh
was a
God.
bad kid.
God.
And he says to me, he says, and I went in there. I just on a Thursday night, I got busted up really bad by Detective Sands, 114 precinct. I refused to sign the confession, and they busted me up. They broke 7 or 8 ribs, broke my ankle. They broke the ribs with the pole that they used to push the windows up with. They broke my ankle by jumping on it because when they hit me over the head with the big law book, because I hit Sands. When he slapped me because I wouldn't sign, he slapped me, I hit him back. I hit him in the belly. They handcuffed me behind the chair. He went and got a big book, kept pounding me on the head till my eyes, my O's, my knees, everything was bleeding. Then
Wow.
they uncuffed me. I wouldn't sign it. That's when they hit me again. I fell on the floor, and they busted me up. They left me in the tombs downstairs for 2 days. They take me to the courthouse, and that was after 3 years of bad stuff that I always got away with, but I got beat. Okay, so now, anyway, my mother takes me from the jailhouse. I says, Ma, you got to get me to the hospital. I can't breathe. I was covered with dry blood for 2 days.
Oh my
My
God.
clothes, everything. And she takes me to Tommy Lucchese's office. And he knew I was coming. He probably told her to bring me up there. So he says to my mother, Bessie, leave the room. I want to talk to Malone. And he tells me just like this. He says, your mother's a good woman, and she's my friend. And you're breaking her heart with all your nickel and dime bullshit. Now, I want you to go home and want you to think about what I said and who I am. And if you decide to straighten your life out, all your problems will go away, including the one you have right now. And that's what straightened my life out. That put me right on the right track. And then Kabert gets the credit for me losing an addiction that's almost impossible to lose. It was in 2 feet of cement, 3-4 miles out in the ocean, and the words, so he gets the thing for doing what no treatment or drug could do. He stopped me from gambling, and Tommy Lucchese turned my whole life around, which I turned back again because of a white collar bad guy who was a legitimate bad guy that he just got me. He accused me of doing something I didn't do. And one thing that I can't help myself is I can't turn the other cheek. I just can't turn the cheek, especially if I'm right. I can't turn the cheek. If I'm wrong, do whatever you have to do. And I took the lumps plenty of times because I was wrong. But since then, I try to position myself, even though I'm in a legitimate world, I try to position myself in almost every case that at the end of this, there's going to be a sit down. And I have to be right at every sit down because I want to walk out. And that's how I conduct businesses. And normally every meeting I have, including the one I had before with a girl, I told her, I says, just a no is as good as a yes. And don't say something that you can't or won't do. If you say it, that means you could do it. If you can't do it, don't say it. And I'll do the same thing.
Yes. Under promise, over perform.
Yeah.
You're good.
Anyway, you're going to get along great with Jimmy because I spoke for, I don't know how long we've been on, but I spoke almost the whole time. And you're going to get the stories you're going to get from Jimmy. The problem with Jimmy is that he it's not a problem because everything is long gone, far away, and not, there's no murders involved. But you're very much like Craig. You get up to a certain point, and that's as far as you go. You don't finish. You don't finish off. There's a whole well there. Jimmy finishes off. Jimmy finishes the sentence or the paragraph. You and Craig don't. You stop.
I
But
skate that line. Yeah, I skate that line. So my friends, a lot of people say to me, when you're in that fucking casket, we want to pull the hard drive. We know what's in there. There's stuff in there. We want to pull the hard drive out of it. That's what they say to me. We want that hard drive, you know?
that's what I told Craig when Craig even said it in the beginning of this. He says, "You're the one that told me," because I called him up after the. I says, "Craig, how could you have a podcast and expect people to listen when you tell you get the story right to the punchline and then you don't say the punchline? You just leave it out. You leave it there." And well, I don't want to cross certain lines. Well, if you're going to have this kind of podcast, you got to have cross certain lines or close the podcast down. Talk about music or something, but don't talk.
Okay, that's a great point, Larry. That's a great point. And that is why I went to being variety in general. Right. I'll put a story in here and there, but I can have anybody on the show of any type of genre.
Yeah.
Any variety. You know, when you put yourself into a specific genre, you're stuck. And like you just said, you got to finish the stories if you're in a specific genre.
Yeah.
You got to finish it. It's like a comedian not giving the punchline.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
You're stuck. You're going to lose the crowd. Yeah.
I gotta tell Craig that. It's like, but
yeah,
now
that's how,
when he talked to me off camera,
yeah.
Wow. I mean, he still didn't let loose, but he said a couple of things, you know, and I told Jimmy, I says, you know, he knows what he's talking about. I mean, he's not a heavyweight, but he's not a mutt neither. He knows what he's talking about.
Well, so, the four of us can have great conversations. Look, the coffee shop that Tommy DeVito had his last coffee in is 6 blocks down from me. We can have coffee right in the coffee shop that Tommy DeVito used to sit in every morning.
Here's what you do. When you know, give me a day's notice. I'll get Jimmy, give me the address of the coffee shop, and we'll meet there for breakfast.
Beautiful.
That's you got my call, so just let me know. Just give me a day's notice.
Absolutely. More than a day. I'll give you ample time. No problem.
Okay. All right,
my man. It was a pleasure having you on. Looking forward to doing many things in the future with you. You're not going anywhere yet, and you got a lot to tell. So we're going to do it. I'm going to pull it all out of you. We're going to do good things.
Okay.
All right, my man.
See ya.
Thank you for stopping in. Appreciate you.
Thank you. It's nice being here.
Later. Yep. All right, guys. So that was it. I'm going to have to edit all of this out. I'm going to edit this up. We're going to do a lot of good things together, guys. A lot of good things are happening. Stick with this channel. There's a lot of good things happening. I'm going to edit, like I said. It started off rough. Larry had a hard time figuring out how to do this, but I'm walking guys through this. I'm helping them with StreamYard, YouTube. What I learn, I teach. That's how I'm doing it. What I learn, I share. And I'll do that with anybody that needs it at any time. So good things are coming here, guys. Good things are coming here. Stick with me. I promise you great content. I'm crossing over from I don't know what I'm doing to I think I got this. I'm gonna say that about me right now. I think I'm just starting to cross over from I don't know what I'm doing till I got this. I think. That's up to you guys to decide, but I don't know. I feel good about it. And for me to give insight to a man 30 years older than me, to tell him a story, an aspect of that life that he had no idea of this side of that life. He had no idea how it went because he was doing that hustle. He was doing that hustle and going for 83 years. And then I come in, just a regular guy with a camera and a microphone, and explain in 3 minutes this side of how that all works. That feels pretty good. And then to add to that, the guy that changed our lives was allegedly a ruthless individual. And by what he did to Larry, changed his life, and now he helped me change my life. Wow. I don't even know what to say. I'm kind of speechless about this. So I got to go process all of this. I'm going to edit this out. 2 hours and 45 minutes we were here. It's amazing. So I'm going to meet those guys. It's going to be Craig, myself, Larry, and Jimmy. We're going to meet in the coffee shop that Tommy DeVito had his last coffee. It's 6 blocks down. So, yep. All right. Well, listen, guys, I'm going to bang out now. We've been on a very long time, but I do want to say that I appreciate each and every one of you, and I will see all of you for coffee at 7. Of course, if I have coffee, Osada, I go live. That's what we do. Mike F., thank you. All right, guys. Thank you, everybody. I will speak to you all tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Have a blessed evening. Ciao for now.